If I told you the things I've seen on my ways, if I told you the things I've done in my days, you wouldn't believe me anyway. So it's best I just don't say. I've lived 1,000 lives, I've piloted 1,000 souls, I killed and fought and died just for a single role.
That also needs to work. Hello.
Why, hello.
Hi.
Welcome to session 2 of the Exodus in Mongoose Traveler 2nd Edition. I am Stu, your GM. And to my left.
I am Kimi, and I am playing Riley O'Connor, and I am a ex-Marine.
You remembered.
And I am. It took me a second. I'm like, wait, which O'Connor is it? I've now played a string of them. And I am an ex-Marine who is now a truther, and I believe in this crazy ancient technology artifact. And I'm right about it, goddammit.
Hi, I'm Joey, and I am playing Milo Hawkins, an ex-diplomat who thinks everything she's saying is absolute bumpkiss.
I'm Stork, and I'm playing Vesa Simola. He's an ex-Marine, ex-scout, ex-colonist, and he's just pretty burned out here and pretty beat up, and so he's just... he's definitely beat up now.
He was almost an ex-character.
At least you're not on the brink of death anymore.
Not anymore. Not on the brink, but yes.
Hi, I'm Pooja. I'm playing Shari Melnyk, an ex-intelligence agent who believes there may be something to all this psi business.
Interesting. And we're all, the reason we're ex-everythings is because we are now working for the Exodus Exodus Foundation, and we're basically going out and helping colonies that have been abandoned by their superpowers to survive in space.
I like the fact that you have to be an ex something to be an Exodus.
Right.
That's funny. I hadn't thought
I
of
think I
that.
have the slogan.
Oh, yeah?
Exodus Foundation. Not all movements are regular.
No.
No? Okay.
Oh. That really stinks.
As long as it's not a running joke.
Oh. Don't get cheeky with me.
Oh. I'm going to wipe this right off the map. All right.
All right. So
It took 30 seconds for it to go...
of course it did.
Did.
Session...
I think it started there.
There couldn't be nowhere else to go but up from here.
Well, definitely started at the bottom and worked its way down.
Yeah.
That's enough wisecracks out of you.
All right. Session 1. Anyone remember what happened? I wrote it up that night, so I have some notes.
So we got a distress call that had been sent to the Exodus Foundation, and we responded. It was a mining planet.
Yeah, Golan's Peaks.
Yes.
Yes. And we went to the town of Carper's Fen.
Yeah.
Right.
And we got there, and there was nobody there.
And Opera Fen is basically a leveled off mountaintop, and it's a small sort of, I kind of think of Appalachian-looking town, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And there's nobody there. Like, and not like it's some the people are have aren't very. It's not very populated. It's like literally horror movie, like ripped apart doors, people missing. We're like, this is not normal.
Yeah. I was like kind of walking through one of the memories in Silent Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah, but without the pyramid to...
Right.
Yeah.
And all the mist.
Yeah, exactly. So we eventually...
Well, we descended into the fog.
We did.
Yes. We did. And so we eventually tracked down the mine that this particular settlement was mining, and there was nobody there. There were signs that maybe these native creatures...
Yeah, we went to the town hall,
Yeah.
and they were like, we evacuated to the mines. So we went to the mines, and we still didn't at first find anybody,
Yeah.
but it does seem like when the distress call came in, they were like, the lurkers are here, which would be like the native...
hairless gorilla things,
like
with large
gorillas
claws.
with giant claws. Gorillas
Yeah.
with giant claws, but
Yeah.
not hairy.
Yeah.
The day had started attacking the miners and the town, So we found a contingent of folks, and they told us that the lurkers were eating people, and they had attacked first the miners and then started venturing up into the town. So we took out a couple of those creatures. Vesa almost died.
Yeah.
Like really close.
So close.
Welcome
so
to Traveler.
In 2 hits.
Yeah.
Stu rolled, I think, a 15 and a 17 or something for damage.
I
It was
rolled rather
ridiculous.
well.
Unbelievably.
Yeah.
And then we kept hearing these like kind of whispery phrases and in our minds.
Yeah.
So we think possibly like, and it was always the same phrase. And we rescued some of the miners who have been captured and not yet eaten.
It wasn't actually the same phrase. It was the same voice.
Yes, sorry,
different
same
phrases.
voice.
Yeah.
Different phrases in the same voice. And then the miners had heard the same thing, like different phrases, picking up on stuff, but it was always the same voice.
Yeah.
So we kind of have the theory that the lurkers were being controlled by a separate entity. And then when we evacuated everybody from the mines to the planet's surface, we found out that the Andy Murphy had come into orbit, which is a naval...
Audie
Murphy. I can't read my own handwriting. And it's a Navy vessel?
Yes.
Yeah.
A troop frigate.
Troop frigate.
Yeah.
Troop frigate.
And it's a U.S. one.
Yes.
Yes.
So-
But
we're
you're in
in
U.S.
UN.
space. You're in U.S. space.
Yes.
Okay.
We're in U.S. space. We are not affiliated, like the Exodus Foundation is not affiliated with any specific superpower. There's 3 major superpowers. The Americas one, which is kind of a mix of the whole continent of America. There's the Europe one, which most of us are from, a country, or at least from a colony or country that's in the UK version. EU. And then there's China?
Ew.
Chinese
There's a
China
Chinese,
and
the Chinese
Russians.
Protectorate and
Yes.
the Russian Confederation.
Yes.
Those are the 4.
Those are the 4 big superpowers. So basically, it means those are the ones that have colonized space. There's a lot of other contingents that has
Spacefaring,
Yeah.
but not colonized.
Yes. But working on it. All of them are working.
Well, one of them, according to the news feed that you sent us, seems to have developed Jump 2 Drive, right?
Japan.
Yeah.
Yes. In last session, I sent a news feed out at the beginning of the session, and a Japanese Mitsubishi Corp
Mitsubishi.
developed a Jump 2 drive, and also I think it was stolen by hackers and such.
Yes, they say they have the basic schematics.
Free Tech, a U.S.-based company, says they have the schematics.
I think it's it's not a company. It's like a hacker.
Right.
It's like anonymous or something like that.
And the
Complex.
India Space Agency announces the completion of an artificial gas giant core.
One of the problems with only having Jump 1 drives, if you look at the map, unless you're going through someone else's space, it's hard to colonize new star systems. So India's like, gas giants are great for refueling from. Let's make one. So they're in the process of doing that. They'll need a few of them probably. I just sent you guys.
So basically, they make an artificial gas giant for basically a big gas.
They've been constructing
and
an
then-
artificial gas giant.
I got it.
Basically in dead space, at the limit of the range of their ships. So they will basically have like a fuel depot in the middle of nowhere.
Got it.
Oh, and apparently the Russian Confederation is at war with the EU. And they had
Some things never change.
the 4th major engagement in the First Interstellar War.
Yes.
So there was...
They were refueling at a Chinese fueling station, and they were attacked. Believed to have been on the way to the Procyon sector to make a major attack against them.
Damn,
those Russian bastards.
Did you like this was totally unintentional, but the Navy Information Center for the EU.
It's called Eunuch.
Yeah, I saw that. And I was
UNIC.
like, that's a choice.
It wasn't. I swear to God, it wasn't. But because it makes sense. EU Navy Information Center.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I put it I'm gonna keep it now.
Well, I mean, once you see it, what's funny is I was skimming it, and I was like, Eunuch? And then I went back to see what it stood for.
Like a Facebook article. Like, what? Oh, now I have to click on it.
Right. And I just sent you guys the
Yeah.
most recent one now. I think did it go through?
It
Yeah,
did.
I got it.
Okay.
There are xenobiologists protesting a terraforming program, and the indigenous ecosystems on Caliban stands as the only known planet with non-hydrogen carbon-based life. So this is the planet that we talked about last week that has the first non-carbon-based life forms that we've encountered as a species. And I'm assuming that the Aslans and the dog people.
We don't. Those don't exist.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, those don't exist.
You did
Not in
reading.
this setting.
I read things. That's
Right.
what I do.
Yeah, that's the default traveler setting, the Third Imperium setting.
After receiving appeals from the IAX, we made several concessions. Portions of the planet will be sealed off from the effects of terraforming, and these areas will be preserves of the indigenous ecosystem that will be allowed to flourish. And will, of course, be made available to any and all xenologists for scientific inquiry. Because, you know, the first thing that you're going to do is definitely not attempt to communicate.
We come in peace, shoot to kill, right?
Meh.
Boiling Hydrogen announces multi-world tour.
I love them.
Pop sensation.
I think their first stop is on Caliban.
It is. And we leave tomorrow for Caliban, where corporate greed will destroy yet another planet.
Oh, okay.
So
So
they're
now's the moment.
like you too.
So now
Yes.
there's a moment as players where we have to decide whether to do through in the rock concerts as a red herring or just fun, just to fill space, or if that's what we should do for the campaign.
Well, right now you guys are still
I mean,
in.
first we have to get off this planet.
You guys are still in Dolan's Peaks, and your medical officer, Two Crows. Because you've probably been using the ship's boat to transport civilian miners to other colonies, since theirs may not be safe. And he's been going down with the ship's boat a few times.
May not be. Those dudes, the rest of those dudes, just let the miners go.
There was
we
only
have
one
no
left.
idea why,
Right.
or how many more of them are out there.
Right.
Was there any response to my message I sent? It was kind of at the end of the session to the other colonies or the other towns to be like, stop digging. These things are coming. Like,
Oh, that's right.
like
The other
digging your
settlements.
own
on
rest. Yeah, the
this
other
planet.
settlements. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, they probably acknowledged
Okay.
acknowledged, and whether they're doing it or not, who knows? But they
Right.
acknowledged.
They at least acknowledge that they got
Yeah.
the message.
But he's been going down and collecting samples, and seems to be kind of distracted. Also, whoever's in charge on the bridge might notice he's eating up a lot of computer cycles on the ship.
I'm going to say I'm spending a lot of time in the med bay
Yes, yeah.
because I'm down to 1 point in endurance. I think I got everything else back just from triage. But I'm
Right.
going to be spending a lot of time in the med bay, just
Not dying.
not dying.
Let me
Thank you.
have him give you a medic roll, if I can find it.
Ethan?
Well, if we're going to go somewhere, I have 2
Ethan
weeks to
Two Crows,
just get back up to normal anyway. But let's just say it's IVs and vitamins and oxygen tents and whatever other high tech stuff they have.
Nanosurgeries?
Yeah, I don't know if that, yeah, maybe we have a ship with a hole in its hull. I don't know if we have nanosurgeons.
That's a good point.
Well, I don't know what tech level 9, 10, like really verging on 11. When do you get nanosurgeries? That's basically what I'm asking. I didn't read that far ahead.
Nanotechnology, there's like 2 accords limiting it because it's been misused a couple of times by bad people.
That's
Shocked.
shocking.
Never would
way.
have guessed that
Right.
that would happen.
But there are some hospitals, most on Terra, maybe on some other like major settled worlds, that
But
have
definitely not on our secondhand ship.
new.
Well,
And like like all nanotechnology has to have like once it's activated, it goes inert, including any other it builds itself, all goes inert within 24 hours. So it's of limited use anyway.
Got it.
Because that's one of the... Because they almost destroyed Tokyo. Because you always almost destroy Tokyo with nanotech, right?
Robots, giant dinosaurs.
Right.
Poor Tokyo.
Exactly. Let me
The
find...
Thebes of modern civilization.
Medical care.
While we're waiting, did anyone planning on watching the Super Bowl next Sunday?
Last time I watched Super Bowl, they paid for a song.
Well, seeing how the Saints got robbed.
They did. They're actually
No.
talking about like having a whole new game and everything. People are suing.
I mean-
it's crazy.
All 3 of those refs should be fired.
Wow.
It was that egregious.
I guess the thing I really wanted to know is, are we playing next Sunday?
I assumed so.
Okay. Since I didn't know it was the Super Bowl until people in the chat room started asking if we're playing next Sunday. Pooja, I think you're the decider.
I mean, I'm not like, yay, go Rams, I guess.
Oh.
With your asterisk Super Bowl.
Oh! So I guess yes, that's a yes. We're playing next week.
Better. I'm better now.
Bitter party of one.
A party of the entire population of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Also, any Saints fan across the United States.
Yeah. There's even people that aren't Saints fans going, that doesn't look right.
Yeah. I had somebody come up to me at work and was like, man, that was so bad, I'm never watching the NFL again.
Wow.
Yeah, it is. There's people suing.
Wow. Interesting.
4 more back.
4 more.
All right.
And that's over the course of, probably a day or 2.
Well, and that's fine. If we go somewhere, then natural healing should kick up the rest of the 5 points.
That's probably more like
2 weeks.
going in and suturing and all of that stuff. Mostly probably what you did at the time was to pack wounds and make sure you didn't bleed out.
You know, ab pads.
Right. Okay.
The Tech 10 equivalent of ab pads.
Yes.
So, since I'm spending a lot of time in the med bay, what is it he's doing?
He looks like he's working on some sort of genetic sequencing. He's using some sort of piece of equipment that has something to do with genetics.
It runs on electricity.
It runs on electricity, and occasionally it goes ping.
Ping!
And
I mean, does it go ping or does it go
probably more like that.
like my washing machine and dryer do now?
Right. Ding 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 ding. Clothes are dry.
Is that the okay? Mine doesn't.
My-
do that.
my- I
Mine
have
just
an-
beeps annoying.
I have an LG. It sings you a song when it finishes washing or when the dryer finishes.
Yep, that's
And they're different songs. So
So-
you know.
LG stands for lyrical gizmo.
I think it does.
it must.
That's
There's
awesome.
now.
Yeah. Seems canon.
It is known. I've been watching Game of Thrones.
Yes.
Rewatching. Third
Yeah.
time. The Audie Murphy has come into orbit. A higher orbit that you guys are probably in a relatively low orbit because you're taking the ship's boat back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's higher up. They haven't really contacted you.
Mm-hmm.
They're not like dun dun and nothing like that.
Just for point of reference, our orders were to find out what was going on with the mining colony. We rescued the miners. Are we done?
No, we were supposed to secure the mine.
And secure the mine. Okay.
Which we
Haven't done yet.
no.
So you basically at this point you've got like one more trip's worth of colonists to get to another place for safety.
But we have to go down there and take care of the liquor problem. What is the Audie Murphy doing here?
They have not contacted you.
Did they contact the government on the planet?
Maybe.
Can we ask them?
We asked the people.
Sure. Yeah, you can call. You've probably been in contact with a couple of the other ones, and they say no, we have not been contacted by them.
Is it normal for U.S. ships to just kind of hang out?
I mean, this is their space.
Well, normally they.
There's
it's a-
a place that they abandoned to get eaten.
Right.
Anybody else here ex-Navy?
Brains.
I'm Marine and Scouts.
Not for them though.
You were. Or intelligence?
I was an intelligence agent.
With Navy, right?
No.
No?
Just
It's
intelligence.
agent is its own thing?
Yes.
So
The Navy would say that Marines are part of the Navy. The Marines probably would
yeah, I
disagree
was
with that.
gonna say
That it's probably often causes fights.
my granddad is
And the
any
Scouts
indication.
And the Scouts are their own organization. They're their own.
The as many of the Marines I talked to when I was shooting that Navy show,
No, yeah,
they're like, "Yeah, the Navy. You mean those people who carry us around?"
yeah,
I've heard that too.
yeah. My granddad used to be, oh yeah, the Army. They're the ones who brought us the boxes of socks. They're the ones who showed up after we took the island in World War II. It's like, oh, okay, Jack.
Ow.
All right,
ow.
Papa.
Happy Jacks would like to apologize for any crusty old veteran stories that we are now sharing.
Right. Well, yeah. If you were in the Pacific, there was not a lot of Army in the Pacific.
No.
In Europe, so the so anyway, it's in a high orbit, kind of above you, but not directly.
And have they been like,
I'll take one of those if you.
are we picking up any kind of, I mean, obviously not listening in to any kind of radio chatter, radio frequency, like are they communicating?
Make one of the electronic comms.
Ooh, I have 2 in that.
You should do that, because I only have electronics computers, so do that thing.
Probably add in
Radio Gaga?
intelligence.
I have sensors. Can I help?
I think. Did we ever figure out how to help?
Well, I did get an 11. No, 12.
12. Okay. You're not hearing. If they were, you probably from your background know what frequencies they use for even when it's encrypted, and you're not even really hearing any encrypted stuff coming from there. A little bit of EM interference from probably their shipboard communications, like
onboard comms.
intra-ship communications, but they're not. Doesn't seem like they're transmitting. I mean, their scanners are on. Their active sensors are pinging, but that's probably typical.
Well, I guess we could just say hi, and it wouldn't be the worst idea to get some help securing the mines.
I think we should at least look to see what type of vessel this is, who's in command, and what they carry.
Well, it's a troop vessel.
Yeah. I'm sure there's records somewhere that we could actually see, like, who's in command and what they've done.
Probably.
And
Yeah, you can. You probably have some sort of database of known. I mean, they may not. The Navy probably doesn't have like a web page for every ship.
No.
But there might be some.
I was thinking just because of the Exodus, because of what we do, is flying in and out of zones, so we might actually have a list of ships and commands
Yeah.
and people. And
The Audie Murphy is a. Let me find the actual specifics of it here. I have too many subfolders for this. I need to figure out how to reorganize it. Are they under ships or are they under plot elements? They're not under
that's a good way
ships.
to cross-reference both of those.
They're not under plot elements either. But I know they're here somewhere. Are they under troublemakers?
Is there a way to search all the folders
There might be.
at one time?
Oh, if only this was a computer that had that kind of functionality. There's got to be a search.
Yes. Too bad you don't have a Mac.
I don't.
I mean, you could search folders in a
I
PC
do.
as well.
It's right
Yeah.
here running
There's-
Linux.
Yeah, there's a search, and it's if you hit the start, there's a search there.
Oh, I disabled that on my Macs.
No, it's
No, it's not on the Mac. It's
on the Mac,
that
on the
one.
PC.
On the PC, on the Dell.
See, look up here at the big one, and I'll show you. Click down on the window, and then
Well, that's not going to help me. I need to search within OneNote.
Yes, but if you search
Oh.
Audie
Oh.
Murphy, in OneNote,
Oh,
there's
there
a
it is.
search function in that.
Okay,
too.
right there.
That's actually easier to find.
Oh, it's probably the magnifying glass.
I love these two. Oh my
It
god!
was like right from like, where is it? It's right there where I should have looked for it.
It's right there in the universal symbol for search.
So I think that's a pretty clear answer that the concert on that planet is just to fill up space and is not a...
Well, what's
Be
interesting...
careful, because I didn't actually give you a newspaper where I had, I've got a few column
That's
inches
true.
left. I better write
That's
an article about a bear.
So, Pooja, this is a callback to our Mode of Sin campaign where we played vampires. And Stu made this really cool newspaper because he's an ex-journalist. And, like, one of the little things in the corner was, like, about this little bar that this lady ran. And, like, we, for whatever reason, thought that was, like, a big clue.
It was an ad.
An ad
It
for
wasn't
the
even
bar.
yeah, it was just an ad in the paper.
And we were like, oh, this is here. It's got to be
To
important.
be fair, one person did. And
Yeah.
then
Right.
Stu ended up developing a whole
How
plot
could
line
we
around it.
see me
awesome.
so... Old people don't old bars.
He went off on this weird...
Old
weird.
people don't own bars. I thought only old people owned bars, and if a young person owned a bar, that was suspicious as all.
Yes.
Yeah, they're probably mobbed up or something.
Yeah.
Or, immortal.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Well,
Before you say that, though, Kimi... Well, go ahead. Well, we'll bring it up later in the game.
okay. I'm afraid.
Yep.
Well, okay, out of character. There's a line in here where it talks about their improvisation creating complex and intricate series of dissonant melodies and countermeasures. It says me to call they have an intuitive hive mind.
Ooh.
It says, there exists among the three lead guitarists a sort of intuitive hive mind. If only we needed psychics to help us out with something.
Yeah, I don't think psychics exist. I think it's just an exaggeration.
Believing in psychics is against the law, I think, actually, or something, right? Well, it's not against the law, but studying it or...
At the moment, it's just junk science, correct? Oh, I
Yes.
see what's
It
happening.
is.
It's this mic here.
Yeah, it's on.
Oh.
It's not. They don't hear it. We hear it.
Never mind.
Yeah. Because we hear everything straight before it hits the board. But, yeah, that's actually very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Riley might be a big fan of theirs now that you read that out loud. That makes sense that she'd be super into crazy, weird stuff.
Dissonant harmonies.
Yeah.
Lead guitarists, hive minds, yeah. It's, just saying.
Okay, the Audie Murphy is a cap trooper troop ship, meaning that they have Starship Troopers. They have guys in mech suits who get inside little cocoons and are fired out of the ship at high velocity. They re-enter the atmosphere. The things explode. Just,
Yeah,
if you ever-
normal. Yeah.
The usual.
Well, if you ever read Starship Troopers and didn't see the movie,
I've only seen the movie.
the book is fantastic. Anyway, apparently they're remaking it. So but that's kind of
Real
what kind of a
question,
ship
if
it
they're
is.
remaking Starship Troopers, is Casper Van Dien going to be in the remake?
I don't know. I don't know. Because they may not put anything that had anything to do with that first movie in it. Because they were apparently the guys that are actually writing the screenplay read the book. Which would be amazing.
All right, so...
And now they know how to light people inside of helmets.
Yeah.
Which was one of the problems, I think.
Which
they had
is-
with this.
Use CGI. That's how they do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Or just put LEDs inside.
It's very Battlestar-like.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So,
I was very upset when I found out those weren't force shields and it was just for lighting the actors.
right. But there's like typically this size of ship is going to carry like a company of cap troopers, and you can see it. It doesn't look like a regular troop ship that would have a bunch of shuttles on it or something like that. It has like what it almost looks like giant. The ship itself kind of looks like a gun, except the
What kind of
barrels
gun?
are pointing down.
What kind of gun?
A big one. And it literally fires these capsules down at high speed
got it.
to a planet.
So it also might look a little bit like udders.
Probably, yes.
Doing a little research, is there any way to know where they were deployed first? I just want to know how long it took them to get here. Like
Troop movements is probably not something that you would normally have an update of. You would know that there's tension way over in the other side of explored space where Elder Star Alpha is, and...
Well, I'm trying to put together a timeline here. Like, if they were called here when we were called here, depending on if they were the same distance away, they would have arrived at roughly the same time, which is about what happened. They're, 2 days behind us or something?
I would say they arrived a couple days later.
But even at the same time, like, if they were called here at the same time we were called here, wouldn't they have gotten the same distress signal? And it seems rather odd that they wouldn't have at least tried to contact anyone? That they're just up there?
they might just
Hanging out?
they might consider us just a harmless nuisance. I mean, we are sort of the UNICEF of the.
I mean, not that they would try to contact us or like show aggression or whatever, but that they wouldn't contact the planet.
Yeah. There's
Why
no
are they
contact
here
whatsoever.
if they're not gonna do something?
Well, if they're perhaps we got called here by a specific settlement. So perhaps if they're here, if they get the same distress call from that same settlement, perhaps they're wondering why they're not getting any answers from those specific people.
They're where we were 2 days ago.
Possibly.
Could also be a
And
case.
they are. I mean, most of the scanning is down at the planet. They're scanning the surface.
It could be the case of, someone wants to play with their toys. Now they want the toy back.
Right. Perhaps I should talk to them.
Perhaps I should.
And we're back
She
to
says,
you talk to
Looking
people.
at the diplomat.
I can do that, I guess.
You guys need me. I'll be back down in sick bay. I need another power smoothie,
Yes, I'm glad to see you stop bleeding.
and it's just seeping now. And what was it?
I mean,
What's
so
his
long
name?
as the pus is clear.
E02 crows.
And Two Crows is awfully busy. I'm going to see what he's up to.
And even when he comes to work on you, you're like, oh, I'm kind of in pain. Oh, okay, all right.
So,
And get back to what he's doing.
so what are you doing there, Two Crows?
I don't want to say yet because I'm not sure. I got a couple more samples to analyze.
I'm sure we'll be the first to know, right?
Of course.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, no, I'll be the first to know.
Nothing goes over my head. My reflexes are too fast.
Go ahead.
Okay.
That was it. That was my little exposition moment.
All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and try to send a communique out to the Murphy.
Okay, all right.
Do you want me to roll first, or do you want me to speak first?
Tell me what you're gonna.
This is Milo Hawkins of the Exodus Foundation reaching out to the crew of the Audie Murphy.
Not the Patty Murphy.
Not the Patty
Definitely
Murphy.
not the Audie Cornish.
And not the Charlie Murphy.
Right. There are too many Murphys. Interested in more or less what oh my god, why am I so flaky today? How are you?
We're all fine here.
Now, how are you? I don't want to ask what their business is because it's not really our business to ask their business.
Mm-hmm.
But try to start like friendly diplomatic banter.
Okay.
How's the weather on your stratosphere?
Yeah.
You get a reply.
Okay.
It says this is the Audie Murphy. We're just now in contact with a few of the settlements, trying to assess the situation here. Would you be willing to share information?
Well, we would not necessarily want to
Over.
hide anything from you, of course. Which settlements have you been in contact with?
He names two of them.
Okay,
not that one.
Carper's Fern.
No.
Not Carper's Fen.
I have a question out of character.
Mm-hmm.
What is the Exodus Foundation's policy with talking to the powers of when we're in their space? Like, are we supposed to share information?
I mean, as far as
If they say, hey, what happened, are we under obligation to give them information? Is that our policy?
policy-wise, probably not.
Okay.
And I mean, legally, you're probably not required to give information unless there's, except under specific circumstances.
Right.
It's almost like a probable cause kind of situation.
Okay.
But
So we're kind of like an independent contractor. We're like kind of like Doctors Without Borders, maybe.
or the
Yeah.
Red Cross.
Yeah.
Or
The Red
You're
Cross.
an NGO.
Exactly.
You're an NGO,
Okay.
non-governmental organization.
Okay.
And I assume that we're big enough that they would probably know who we are.
Absolutely.
Okay.
All right.
Yes.
I'm sorry, Kimi. I'm
No,
just trying to get a real world concept of this.
That's exactly.
In all of settled space, there's probably a dozen, maybe more Exodus Foundation ships, and they're all of similar class. They do a lot of.
Do they all
like-
have hull damage?
No. Some of them are probably worse off than this one. Some of them are probably better off.
We're like Greenpeace. You know, we just get donations and we get whatever we get
Right.
and make it work. Okay.
Right, cool. of course, we don't want to hold any information from you. We are just kind of curious as to the nature of your radio silence. Normally, we were expecting someone to say hello.
Oh, we're assessing the situation first.
Ah, yes. And how are you finding the situation?
We're surprised to find that the what's the name of the settlement?
Carper's Fen?
Carper's Fen is essentially empty, and that's we've noticed that you've had ship movements from there to other places. And that's one of the reasons we want to talk to you, to find out if what you can tell us about the situation that happened down there, and if we need to intervene.
Oh, I don't know if there's any need for you to intervene. We've more or less got a handle on it. Wouldn't you agree? Everyone?
We took out a couple of the, what are they called? Non-sapient?
Yeah.
Well, no, they were...
Non-sentient.
Oh, they were sentient.
It's like a specific way that they were referred to in the thing that I want to find. Ecology...
Sapients. They were hairless
Pre-sapient?
Two
Pre-sapient.
pre-sapient.
That's what they
we
were.
took out a couple of pre-sapient creatures that apparently have gotten quite the taste for, well, colonist flesh. And had infiltrated the mining tunnels. They have quite the resilient metabolism, and were able to also, make their way up to town to terrorize the poor folk.
Right. It does seem that they were limited to just this one settlement, though. It doesn't seem like it is spread to other groups of this native species, because it's the other settlement seems to be just fine. So perhaps there's just one pack of them, or whatever they call them, that's decided, hey, time to eat the long pig.
And
I mean, it's kind of like a, like when a bear or a tiger decide to attack a human. It's unfortunate, but can't be allowed to spread or continue.
Yeah, it's our understanding that these creatures are rather pervasive on the planet, although there have been a few random attacks. Apparently nothing quite as destructive as what we're seeing from orbit.
Yes. I mean, I think it would be our recommendation that once the tunnels at Carpus Fen are cleared out, that all the settlements on this planet maybe upgrade their security and barrier measures on their tunnels to prevent further attacks.
Right.
Please stand by. And then, like, a minute goes by, and then the it's a comm officer, gets back on and says, we have a member of the USTAS, U.S. USTAS, well, that's fine. Diplomatic Corps is on board and would like to interview your crew regarding these incidents. We would like permission to dock.
Well, I mean, it seems like it would be much more comfortable to meet on the planet's surface. If that is amenable to you.
Planetary
surface, we're not showing as secure.
I think we're going to have to. Check in with our. Sorry, I keep losing it. I think we're going to have to check in with the Foundation real quick to see if there's anything. If we've been called out on another assignment before we know if we can spend time. We're happy to send you some logs or something, but we're going to need a bit of time to check in there and see if we need to be skedaddling on our way.
Okay, well, you know that communication to Terra,
Right.
will at this point would probably take 3 months,
Right, but just,
and then 3 months for a reply.
I mostly mean like checking the answering machine to see if they've
Right.
sent us anything.
Okay.
So, and I'm not saying that I'm not suggesting we send a note to see. I'm seeing if they've already sent us
Okay,
our next
all right.
assignment.
Right.
And I'm getting a few minutes to talk in private while
course,
we do
yeah.
that.
Mute. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well then, No question. Were we supposed to?
Let me just say one thing.
Yeah.
You would know this, you would know this, you might know this, and you might know this because of your backgrounds. Diplomats attached to military vessels are almost always intelligence agents.
Yeah.
They're not really diplomats.
She would know this for sure.
Yes, and pretty much everyone here would have the background to go, they don't put diplomats on warships.
Yeah.
They put people who say they're diplomats on warships.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Diplomat. Heavy quotes.
Right.
Yes. Well, that seems very suspicious that they're sending an agent down to talk to us.
Right.
It seems weird for a colony that they weren't even willing to send someone to help a little bit ago.
Right. That's my concern. I think that there's more than they're letting on. There's a reason they want that colony.
Right.
Or a reason why they want the... Maybe they know more about this lurker situation than they're letting on.
Right, and they want to see if we know about it.
Do you think they want to try to silence us then?
I mean, yes. It's common procedure that if there was any involvement that they want to keep away from, other eyes. So definitely, let's keep to the basics. And no mention of the code situation.
It would be nice
Or
to-
the phrases.
It might be nice to stall until Two Feathers is done with his work, because he seems to be onto something. Also, I recommend we not dock with them, because
Okay.
once we're with them, we can't un-with them.
Right, well, we don't want them to know anything about Two Feathers is doing either.
No.
Right.
Yeah, so
Two crows.
Two Crows,
I'm
right.
sorry, Two Crows.
why don't we suggest meeting at one of the other settlements? We're busing civilians there every day. And,
And we can use the leaders of the settlements, and especially the ones that were kidnapped, and their knowledge as the reason, because we could use them as their input. They had direct knowledge of them.
Or we could just say, hey, half our ship is missing. It's not the best place to meet. That's obvious for them and a good enough reason.
I didn't say half the ship.
All right, well,
10%
I'm sorry that
of the
a
ship.
third of our ship is missing.
10% of the ship.
Right, but then I'm afraid they're trying to recommend meeting on their ship. It would be harder for us to get off their ship than getting them off our ship.
We definitely should meet on the planet's surface, and
Agreed.
it keeps us close to our mission.
Agreed. Now, when it said secure the mines, secure them for who?
Well, the miners.
Oh, for the miners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure, for us? For the U.S.?
No.
I mean, I don't think Exodus really wants mines.
Right. That's what
They
I
were
was just
barely
confirming that it
spread
was
by.
just for the miners.
Now, Shari, this is your area of expertise. So, I mean, you're saying don't let too much slip. But what should we be looking for? Should any of us stay here? I mean, I don't know if they need to. I mean, it's ridiculous for them wanting to debrief all of the crew.
Well,
I thought just the
only
landing
the
party
four
should
of us.
go.
Yes, only the landing party would be important in their
Right.
minds to see what we experienced and what we know.
So, are all of us comfortable and convincing when we're not being completely truthful?
I think Vesa should stay on the ship just in case.
Agreed.
We don't want any kind of funny business happening while we're gone. They obviously have a lot more manpower than we do. But they're going to try the diplomatic approach first. And nobody wants a, Like, we've
intergalactic
already-
incident on our hands.
I mean, we've already saved the miners.
Right.
So it's not like they could claim anything untoward as an
Right.
accident after what we've already done. So meeting on the planet gives us cover,
Right.
protects our people from theirs, and
Witnesses.
allows us to... no one cares what a bunch of
Miners.
miners on a backwoods colony think.
Well,
or
unless-
have to say.
Unless they get debriefed and say that we were talking about those voices in our heads, and that disproves us saying we haven't heard of them.
I mean, they didn't say anything about them until we specifically asked.
Mm-hmm.
And they mostly chalked it up to stress.
So it'd be absolutely fine to not have any acknowledgement of them until they bring it up, and then just say, "Oh yes, we heard about that. We disproved it. It brushed it off. It's clearly nothing."
I mean,
Rabies
it
of mad
was
people.
clearly like, either hallucinations or possibly the lurkers had
Stress.
some kind of, mimicry aspect of their biology that we were previously unaware of.
Perhaps we should just say stress. I think leading in any way that we might be studying or thinking about those lurkers might be exactly what they're wanting to find out.
Yes.
I think stress
Just
or
miners unprepared for battle that obviously are showing.
I mean, the
handle
hallucinations
it.
are so common in combat situations for the unprepared and uninitiated.
Sounds right to me.
I agree.
So,
To be clear, our ship's unarmed, right? No turrets or anything?
You've got like beam laser and sandcaster. Sandcaster's a defensive weapon.
Right,
Kind of
barrel.
reflects,
Right, I got it.
reflects laser.
Right.
yeah, so we just...
They have more.
Yes.
But I mean, it's a
Stress.
troop frigate. It's not a. I mean,
No, no.
it's
Okay.
probably got mostly point defense stuff. It doesn't probably have a ton of offensive weapons. That's what the cap troopers are for.
See if you can convince them to meet at one of the other settlements.
Agreed. And yeah, we checked the message. We don't have any upcoming
No.
missions from Exodus. Okay.
Ah, crap.
In the 3 days that we've been here, they weren't expecting us to, like, finish up our stuff. We didn't need to go to a concert on Caspian. Christmas?
I'm sorry.
Caliban.
I'm sorry, we can't help you. We can't debrief with you. We've got concert tickets coming up, and
You would not
Really
believe how hard they were to get a hold of. And if we don't leave right now...
All right.
oh my god, I almost wish we'd gone with that plan just because it's amazing.
No, it's so good.
We can't abandon the miners.
I
I mean, it is
know.
our core mission.
Yeah, I know. But concert tickets.
Yeah. Us telling Stu that that's our reason, like that's the best part.
All right, so I'll get back on the comms.
Okay.
Hello, this is the Vanguard communicating to the Audi Murphy.
This is Audie Murphy. Actual. This is a woman's voice this time,
Oh, okay.
and you know what that means. It's a captain.
Oh, okay. Oh my.
I was about to say, please enlighten, because I don't.
Right? Do I?
It's the commanding officer.
The commanding officer.
Got it.
Okay. Yes, we have checked our communications, and we do not have any pressing obligations. We won't have to meet with you. However, we do feel it would be more suitable and more productive for both sides if we were to meet somewhere on world. That way, you can communicate with us. You communicate with the other people there. See if any of the other colonies have made any other findings that perhaps may be of interest to you, and it will allow us to continue to assist these people as we have since we've gotten here.
Very well. Which Vanguard?
Yes, the Vanguard.
Very well, Vanguard. We will. We're going to secure Carper's Fen. Once the all clear comes in, we will. We'll meet you there.
Oh, fantastic. Over and out.
And then they kind of move, and then they.
That's a way of securing it, yeah.
Right. Well, they're not blowing it up. They're sending down their.
I mean, that's the pod ships that,
Right.
Also people go down and they make sure, they're the only ones who go boom.
Right. And probably 2 hours go by, and then you get the comm officer comes back and says, "We have an all clear from Carper's Fen. We're sending down diplomatic representative now."
Fantastic. And they give us coordinates for where we're going to meet.
Yeah.
As far as,
Well, they're gonna. Yeah, the coordinates they give you are basically the old town hall.
Okay.
Or the abandoned
Great.
town hall.
We know where that is.
We do.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. All right, we will meet you there.
Riley, do you have a? Let me pull you aside. Do you have a plan for getting out of there if you need to? I know
Okay.
you're always prepared, but what's the plan?
Plan is run like hell and hope that whatever's on this planet is more valuable to them than us. Because with that ship up there,
Right.
they could level the Vanguard and most of the colonies without blinking an eye.
Well, I have a thought about loading as many sandcasters as I can into the hold, and dumping it if we have to make a run for it. But just stay frosty.
Right, well,
I've lost too many friends, and I don't want to lose you too.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate it if you come back alive.
Yeah, well, I don't plan on ending my days to these Yanks, so don't worry about it. I
Okay.
don't know if they call them Yanks at this point. I tried to think of a thing that was a mix of like Yank and like all the Americas, and I couldn't think fast enough. So,
I don't know. I don't know what you're Irish, right?
yeah.
That's what that accent is. Okay.
He's maple.
Sometimes I keep sort of going southern. I don't know
Right.
why it's a thing.
It's the maple swilling bastard.
They're probably going to frisk you and probably not allow weapons. Do you have a blade or a body pistol that you can conceal?
Well, I'm pretty sure that's a very quick way to find a very quick end there.
Okay.
Sorry, I can't see you through the shade that Stu's throwing at my accent. So I think it's best for us just to be on the up and up with them as far as our weapons and protecting ourselves, and then just make sure we don't give them the truth.
Okay, I'll prep the ship for a quick exit.
All right. I mean, really, the best chance if they decide they want to fire is for the people who are already on board to just get the hell out of here, and the rest of us just
Hopefully wait it out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not there.
wait it out, or at least have one last drink.
Hooyah.
Right.
All right. So who's going down?
Just the three of us.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to warm up the reactors, and then I'm going to start loading the sandcaster barrels into the hold
Okay.
with like timers on them. So if I have to leave, I can dump them all and make it a giant cloud of sand
Okay.
behind us in case we get shot at,
Okay.
as well as loading the sandcasters.
Now you do have to get a certain distance away from the planet to actually enter jump space, or else it's horrendously
I get it.
dangerous.
I get it. I will plot a course to. I'm going to make a Caliban, so I have that preset into the computer.
Oh, that's a long way away. You need to go to here. Let me give you a map.
That's fine. Then we'll plot the first jump towards Caliban
Okay.
because it's in my memory right now. And,
674,
yeah. So that's all. That won't have to get done. Yeah, it'll all be handled ahead of time.
Oh, I accidentally turned my mic down. There's a map if you want to look at it. I think someone circled in pencil where you guys are right now. Okay.
So I'm going to take my basic laser pistol with me, but like obviously carrying it. So if they're like, "Oh, no weapons," then it's like, no problem.
Okay.
Like put it on the table because it's super weird for us not to have anything.
Yeah,
Right.
like we're not going to go down unarmed to a place where we absolutely know they're cannibals.
Right.
I mean, not cannibals; they're a different species. But
Yeah.
like
An apex predator that likes human meat.
eating
Yes.
predators.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not suicidal.
Yeah.
Okay. So you get down there, and there's these Marines in big, tall mech suits wandering around. And when your ship comes down, one of them comes up to the little port hatch on the back of it.
Hello. Fancy seeing you here.
You're so tall.
It says, yeah, I'm Corporal Braga. I'm told I'm supposed to take you to the Diplomat. And that's he kind of rolls his eyes and turns.
Yeah.
Yes, of course. I am
Correct.
Milo, Hawkins, and I look forward to meeting your ambassador.
We saw one of those things. They're tough.
Yes, they are rather formidable.
Yep, took a lot of hits.
And those claws are no joke.
No.
I wouldn't know about that.
Well, you know.
And there's like mounted weapons attached to his shoulders. I mean, it's not this.
Unfortunately, we don't have quite the, ranged capability of the U.S. military.
And he leads you into that same sort of abandoned place. And he says, "Diplomat's right in there."
Fantastic.
And you go through the first set of doors, and there's another set of cap troopers there who are kind of guarding the door. And
Are they all outfitted with ranged weaponry?
these guys look like they're out of their armor. They're just wearing their uniforms, or some kind of some sort of like armored back suit without the helmet on. And they say we would like to speak with you one at a time if that's possible.
Well, I mean, before we start interrogations, shouldn't we all meet?
At least meet
say
each other.
hello?
Okay. They said no. He says, and you hear this guy go, well, let him in.
I mean, just like basic pleasantries. Even I know
Even
those.
out here,
It's the
like,
military.
Come on,
He's an intelligence officer.
Oh,
No
yeah.
better.
right?
You're actually pretty
Parading as
high-ranking, too.
diplomat. So we go in.
He stands up when you guys come in and offers his hand.
Aren't you pretty highly decorated too? Don't you have like a rep?
I have some pull, but like, I'm not like 5 turns in. It's middle management at best.
Right. Yeah, I'll extend my hand and do pleasant introductions.
I'm Daniel Jones Smith.
Of course you are.
Mr.
Nice to meet you, Mr.
Wink.
Smith.
Mr. Jones Smith.
Mr. Pleased to meet you, Mr. Jones Smith.
Said Smith with a Y.
Smite.
It is now. Yeah, I had some questions about what happened here. We're trying to kind of piece together.
Well, any information we can give you to help you in your investigation and getting these miners back to work.
Yeah, well, I think they did a clean sweep. I think we can start bringing them back. I think it looks like it. I mean, they're still. I don't have they all clear yet, but we're looking okay. I think.
That is good to hear. I know they'll be happy to get back to their homes and their lives.
So these things that were attacking the miners,
Yes.
according to one of the other settlements, they call them lurkers.
Yes, they're giant naked monkeys. The claws.
Don't
he's-
forget the claws.
He's got like it's probably not a laptop, some kind of tablet thing, and he's like taking notes.
Right.
And did they exhibit any unusual behavior?
They were eating people.
Got that. Anything else? Because according to other settlements, their behavior seems to be a lot like bears.
Right. Well, they just figured out that's the doors that they could scratch at them and maybe get through some of them because there were big claw marks on some of the doors.
I mean, if you look around the town, you could see it. They figured out where the miners lived. Came to hit them where they literally lived.
Right.
They were rather aggressive, which seemed out of place for them.
From previously observed behavior, which wasn't much, to be honest. No one we had talked to had actually seen one in person until this happened.
Well, it turns out a couple of the other settlements have had problems where they've been attacked, but they've been solitary.
See, I told you all. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. I told you all. It was just that these miners aren't talking to each other. It's all their fault. They should have just paid more attention. If they'd talked to each other, they would have known what to do.
I agree, communication is key for any planetary government.
Right, especially when it's about big old animals. Like, it's a waste of our time.
Unstudied large animals that they assumed were solo because that's what they had, seen twice or 3 times before.
Yeah, well, they've never been seen in groups, according to the people I've talked to. I mean,
To the miners.
pardon?
To the miners? They're asking about animal behavior? To a bunch of dirt diggers?
Well, there's no xenologists here.
Well then,
Maybe send down a... I'm sorry, what did you say it
Do you
was?
want a
Xenologist?
xenologist.
Yes.
Oh, well, thank you.
Let's tell me, are better communications between the different camps going to be something that you're going to be improving upon now that you're here?
Yeah, we're gonna upgrade their communication systems
To
a bit.
smoke signals now.
They need to reinforce the tunnels, since obviously the lurkers have found, egress to be possible through the current standard of security. I think upgrading it 1 or 2 times would keep them solid. Now that they know to be on the lookout, you treat it like you do any invasive predatory species. Clean them out as necessary. Continue on with your, when a fox gets in the hen house, you put up better walls and a new fence.
And you shoot the fox.
Well, we've already taken care of that.
Right.
Did when you arrived, were there any settlers here in the settlement at all?
No, they had evacuated to the mines themselves. Due to
Safety.
the prevalence of attacks.
Since they had already made their way onto the surface, they
And
decided.
it's my understanding that you found a number of deceased in a cave or something.
Well, the mining systems themselves had, been breached. So when they went to where they thought there would be safety, there were things that went into eat. So there were a number of deceased, and then there were a number of survivors. We took care of the lurkers that we saw at the time, took the survivors to the surface, and evacuated.
I see. Okay. All right. Who is Nathan Two Crows?
We have no one of that name aboard our ship.
Fair enough. All right. If I have more information, is it override if I contact you? It would obviously won't have to be.
Technically, we really don't have out of character.
Yeah, because his name's Ethan Two Crows.
His name is Ethan.
Oh no, that was my mistake. Then.
Oh,
We really, I'm 100% honest.
Right.
I'm like,
it's like,
does
no, yeah.
Ethan have a brother?
Sorry, I meant Ethan. That was
Oh,
me.
okay.
That was me saying.
I wouldn't outright lie because it's really easy to find out who we have on the sheet.
Okay.
I was just
Okay.
confused.
So rewind. Who is Ethan Two Crows?
There's ship's medic.
Ah. Okay.
You know.
All right. Thank you. If I have more information, I'll just contact you by radio. There's no need to come all the way down here.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. Sounds good. Sounds great. I hope that you
Although we will be, obviously,
leaving at some point.
facilitating the evacuation of the rest of the colonists from this area until we know, like you said, it shouldn't be long, but until they get the all clear to return.
Very well.
Since they need to secure the mines and against further incursion of any rogue lurkers.
Yeah, we'll do our best to. We're gonna. There's a platoon going through the mine right now. So
That's fantastic. I'm sure they'll be very, very appreciative of all your help, especially because, colonies like these, it just really rips at your heart. It is nice as a member of Exodus because we often see colonies that have fallen a little by the wayside of their superpowers, a little outside of the umbrella of protection.
Oh yeah.
To see that the U.S. is stepping away from the pack to really bring everyone back into the fold.
Yeah, we just love you guys.
Well, we're trying.
Yes, I see.
Good thing you guys are out here.
We do what we can.
As do I.
Such a mere.
So we can
Meager
go
resources.
now then, right?
Pardon?
So we can go now then?
Of course. Yes, of course.
All right. Let's go back to the ship and get a drink.
Sounds good to me.
See, now you like that still.
I'm pretty sure Ridley always liked the still.
Yes.
And it was the diplomat that was a little
Oh no, are you kidding? I love the fact that we have a bar on board.
nice. I am still sticking to my carbonated beverages.
Okay, so you guys get back up to the ship, and
So I haven't figured out if I want to drink yet or not.
and Two Crows kind of meets you at the airlock. He says, "I think I found something out."
Well, good, because our U.S. ship's been asking specifically about you.
You've made some friends, apparently.
Why would the U.S. Navy know who you are, Ethan?
I have no idea why the U.S. Navy would know who I am.
What did you find out?
Those lurkers, they did not evolve on this planet.
A bioweapon of some sort?
I don't know, but he comes back to his lab and he shows you, and it doesn't matter because you don't know what you're looking at.
No.
But he shows you gene sequences of most of the other indigenous life forms on the planet, and then this other one, and it's the chemical compounds that make up its equivalent of DNA.
In EU, man. In EU.
In French, man, in French.
But he essentially tells you, he says, Everything else has DNA that looks like this and uses these chemicals. This thing uses entirely different chemicals. If it evolved here, there would be other animals that had come somewhere along the evolutionary chain that would probably still be around. Also, I think this thing has been manipulated.
Manipulated how?
Genetically. I think at the genetic level, I've found sequences that don't repeat anywhere else, and that's unusual.
Oh, so these things were made to kill the people here. Or at
Or
least,
at least
to be
made
here.
at some point.
Yeah.
They were made, but then what do those sequences control?
That I'm not sure yet. I need more cycles from the computer to figure that out. Figuring out actually what all the genetic stuff does, because I have to basically understand their entire biochemistry in order to figure out what that stuff
Are there any
does.
specific markers that would indicate where they would have originated from? Are there any particular planets that are made up predominantly of the elements you're seeing?
Not in my database.
If this is somebody's mindless ape army that they've been working on, there must be somebody in charge. There must be a base, a lab, or something either buried deep in the ground or somewhere we're not. There must be transmissions.
Or like the big one that just came into orbit.
And, I mean,
Yes.
we've also got there's a lot of to and from planet ship activity. They are an export economy. They could have come at any point. And these species have been noted by ecologists for years here. This isn't like a new...
Well, I'm wondering if this is a bioweapon that's been in development for years. That they chose this planet, this backwater, and the fact that the mining colony appeared here has thrown a wrench into their works. But I'd still say there should be a lab or somebody in charge.
Well, also, I'm wondering, like, it wasn't until more recently that the miners said they started seeing these things. Maybe lurkers were just like an urban myth for them on the planet until someone was like, "Hey, let's make these things," and that's just what the miners assumed they were.
Well, Carver's Fen, but they'd had encounters with these creatures in the other settlements.
I wonder
Are
if
we sure? Have
And
we
they were
talked to them?
documented, in our brief.
And how long? Yeah, how long ago was?
and they were all solitary.
Long
Only
time.
recently they've become organized.
Long time.
So perhaps.
Perhaps they are...
This was a generation ship colony.
Okay.
So, I mean, this colony's probably been here for a couple hundred years.
Yeah, like this isn't... And if lurkers were here, if the things we know now as lurkers...
Now, was this colony established before they established jump drive on Terra?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This might be somebody else's bioweapon that they've completely forgotten about, and it's just... But still, they've only recently gotten organized, and we can't discredit the voices that we've heard.
Right. Well, I think we should get the bloody hell out of here and let's Two Crows finish his research. If we're sitting here like sitting ducks, if they find out that he's doing research here, they're just going
I
to
already
blast us
know
out of
we're
the
doing
sky.
research here. The point is, you can't go back down to the surface. No more samples. Can you continue your work, stand samples?
I think so. I think so.
So
It
then
also
what?
begs the question about why they know about him.
Well, because he's been going down and talking to miners.
He's been going down, getting samples, talking about,
people.
like, figuring out, like... But so long as he doesn't go back down to the surface, except to maybe, treat any injuries, blah, 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 blah.
Right. I mean, we can come back if we need to, but I don't think sitting here. We're obviously.
Well, we need to finish our work. We need to finish the work that we were sent here to do.
Well, haven't we done that?
When the U.S. has secured the mines,
The U.S. has secured the mine, so we need to facilitate getting the miners back to a...
Isn't that their job now, though? It's their space. It's their colonists.
I'm willing to wait a couple of days to see if the U.S. actually has secured the mines. Having taken 2 hits from one of those things, I'm going to be interested
Oh,
to
you
see
didn't
what...
see what they were carrying.
yes, it was.
But they
rather
didn't.
impressive.
They don't know how tough these things are, do they?
Actually, one of the guys that we talked to really did.
Said he only took out 1.
Said they took out a good set of, like took a good few hits, I think is what he said. But with the mechs,
The mech suits.
But the fact
they've
they
got a
all
lot
took
more
out
firepower
one-
than we were bringing.
I'm
to the
willing
table.
to wait a day or two to see if
And
because I have a
just-
feeling
just
they're going to
make
be
sure.
really surprised at how tough these things are.
Right, but they've got the whole, like a whole set
Ship's
of
worth of people.
yeah, I would use a military term here, but I don't know them. A whole legion or whatever it would be.
Squad.
Yeah, company.
Squad?
There's a company down on the planet.
They got a whole company down there.
More's the pity for them. I think they're in for a rude awakening.
Right, so you just
They
want to sit
are
around and
being
watch it. I mean, that sounds fun for me, but...
I think he also wants to make sure that we don't leave the colonists worse off than we found them.
Yes. I also think that once the Navy gets their nose blooded, they might be more willing to share information.
I think that they're going to get embarrassed and start demanding information they know we have and aren't giving them.
Could go that way too. We could always leave at that point.
I mean, I'm just saying that the ship got here and then didn't actually try to contact anyone. They came for something specific.
Mm-hmm.
And it's much more likely that the lurkers are part of some government military project than some mysterious rogue element that no one knew about until now.
When we were down on the surface, did we see any bodies of lurkers? Were they pulling anything out of the mines? Like, was there any kind of fire?
No.
It makes me wonder if they're actually killing them.
So we wait 2 days. We finish,
Okay.
tending to any miners
Right, I
that
was
need
wondering if-
work,
if-
blah, 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 and let Two Crows do his thing.
If the Navy secures Harper's Fen, perhaps we can help with getting the miners back to their homes and getting the mines back up and running, while the Navy is busy building walls and doing what they do. So we can still say we're doing our mission while we're waiting for them.
Yeah, exactly.
Just go
Because
full
I'm sure the miners
humanitarian.
would like to get back to their homes.
course.
Yes.
And that's still keeping in the spirit
Also,
of our
we
mission.
literally have nowhere else to go right now.
Yes.
Anyone here with advocate?
Yes, I have two
Okay.
advocate.
Okay, you don't need to roll.
Okay.
One thing that kind of might occur to you is that technically you're in USTOS space, and the Navy has the right to board, inspect manifests, and things like that. They haven't pulled that card,
But they could.
but you know that's a card they could pull.
And I'm going to explain out of character. I'm not being difficult because I don't like all you guys. I'm being difficult because Riley is 100% convinced that her artifact is why this ship is here, and she wants to get out and she wants to get away because she's convinced that her artifact is what's causing all of this. So just explaining to you before I'm a total asshole to you all in character. We have to get the fuck out of here. If we stay, we're giving them time to take what they want. And they can take care of the miners. The miners can take care of themselves.
The miners cannot take care of themselves. That's why they called us in the first place.
Right, but now they have a whole ship there protecting them with mech suits and all the fancy things that we don't have. We don't even have a whole ship.
we have 90% of it.
Right. Exactly my point. Thank you for agreeing with me.
I am saying, though, that it looks damn suspicious for us not to fulfill our mission on this planet and to cut and run as soon as another ship shows up.
Right, but they're already suspicious of us. Do you think we actually
So it
tricked that
looks
guy this
even
morning?
worse for us to be like, oh, one interview, let's take let's jet out of here at the first possible opportunity, and they could stop us at any time.
Right.
They have a much better ship than we do.
Right. Do you
So
think
if
we're
we play ball and play along, then you get the veneer of social construct civility,
Right.
which has saved more lives than any kind of rabbit work that you would like to do right now. And honestly, I don't know why you're so skittish. Put it nicely.
Because we just got interviewed by an agent. And I'm sorry, I haven't the best track record with agents. I'm sure you're all shocked with that. But also, we aren't all as great as you are with lying to them. Eventually they're going to ask us questions, and they already got to know we're lying to them. At some point, they're going to get tired of us lying to them, and they're not going to be so nice about it.
I mean, and we'll burn the bridge when it comes to it. For now, we're going to wait a couple of days, see what Two Crows comes up with, if
they
that
don't
works
take
with
him
y'all.
and arrest him.
Is the work,
I mean, they have no cause to
is the
arrest.
work Tuko's doing, does he need to be on the ship to do it?
Yes. He needs the computer cycles.
We need something then to hold over their heads.
No, we don't.
No, we do, because they could blast us out to the air and blast the colonists and then tell whatever story they want. So we need something out there that tells why we're here and what is happening and that they're here. So that they have a reason not to just blast us out of the sky.
We draft a brief report, our progress reports to Exodus, and send it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. So that we can say, they can threaten us and we're like, oh, I'm sorry, we already sent a message naming all of you and your crew members and your captain and what exactly is happening here to our Exodus Foundation. Oops. You better not kill us all or everyone's going to know what happened.
Well, I mean, oops, that's part of our job, is to report back.
It is
No.
literally what we do.
I was being sarcastic.
Oh, I see.
Like, oh, we didn't realize you didn't want us to send the fact that you're here. Yes. So I think at least that might be a bit of insurance for us then.
I have no problem.
All right. We should probably take some steps to protect some of Tukrose's information too in case they do board us.
Perhaps sending anything over in that message that we can. Any findings that he's already come up with.
That might be reason enough for them to shoot us down.
They will absolutely see intercept
Yes.
and decode our message out.
Right.
Absolutely no compromising information can go.
Right.
We report
What we told them.
what we told them, exactly what we told them, and that we are now working in conjunction with the U.S. ship Audie Murphy to settle the miners finally in, get them resettled in their homes, and then we'll be on to our next mission as per Exodus's briefs.
It's a good point. I like it.
Also, is there not out of character? Like, I know it takes 3 months to get a message back to Terra, but that can't be like the only Exodus comm point, right?
No, you probably have on other major planets places you can send information to, because basically what you've got is it's like an X-boat network, which is every star system probably has some sort of satellite in deep space where if you want to send messages to someone out, you transmit them there, encrypted, and you put whatever address they're going to go to. And then there are ships, probably your ship as well, that have devices on board that will bring in these encrypted messages, and then when you get to another star system, transmit them. And basically it's like a super, super slow internet.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you have other places, but if it was if you were looking for what is our policy? We're in a situation where we might start a war. What do you want us to do? That would probably need to get to a major representative. I mean, your closest one to you is probably like Barnard Star, which is 2 jumps away. Because Barnard Star is pretty populated.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's not so much that we're saying like we're mass start a war, but like, hey, you sent us on this mission. Now we need to brief you on it and say hey, we're about to be ready for our next mission, or we're done with this, or we are ready for our next mission.
Right.
It seems like, I don't know. I guess I just thought it was like really inefficient to have to wait 3 months between.
Well, that's just a matter of the physics. There's no faster than light communication.
But there is like a set 1 or 2 jumps away, rather than having to wait 4 missions from Terra. They have like a backlog of stuff that they can do.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Trying
to understand
the way I always played it is that messages are transferred to ships that are going through sector.
Yes.
And once they jump, that data then gets offloaded, and so it makes jumps. So it actually goes pretty quick, because a ship going through a sector.
Stu just said that.
I know.
Yeah.
That's the way I've always viewed it.
Yeah.
It's rather than just the one ship.
It's exactly like an Ethernet hub.
Yes.
It's like it transmits the message. It's encrypted, so it's reasonably secure.
Yeah.
But it transmits the message basically on a broad to every ship that's going everywhere, because eventually one of those ships might get to the planet it needs to get to.
If you like, I can make a hard data dump. I can take one of these sandcasters and empty it. I can put the data in it. I can make a pinger or something. We can send that information to them, so that if we are lost, they can come and pick up that data here. It's a matter of just getting it into orbit. So we could either do it on our way out or figure out a way to get it to orbit. But that's a thought. We can put a small barrel with basically a message in a bottle to Exodus Foundation on a channel that of our choosing, on the wavelength of our choosing, that they can then home in on and pick up at a later date. But
I'd rather just be alive to give them the message ourselves.
I agree.
Yeah. Let's send a status report.
Yeah, say that we've successfully cleared the mines and saved the miners, so that nobody can later say, "Oh, they died." Oops, sorry.
Right.
Let them know the Navy's shown up,
Of course.
who they are, and
That we're cooperating with them.
to fullest extent.
And that we met a nice diplomat on their ship.
Yes.
We don't have any codes for SOS or things are in trouble here that are standard for our company. Like if we're being held prisoner or
I see what you're
captive,
saying.
and we say
Right.
something like, oh yes, it's great. The fat man's walking alone.
Right.
I think if we
You might
say-
have that kind of code. Yes, you probably have that sort of code. Like if you're like actually under gunpoint and people are forcing you to send
Do
messages,
things.
there's probably something that. It's probably probably more subtle than that.
Probably the water is drinkable here. Can that be our code?
I'm wondering if there's a code that
I
says
like
something about.
We have vague existential
Yes.
crises going on. That,
Yeah.
no one has actually said anything. Because really, this is all still Cold War,
It is.
posturing. I don't feel like calling in the big guns for every
I think simply by stating the fact that the Navy's shown up would be enough information for
Yeah.
them that they can extrapolate.
And that they had a diplomat.
Yes.
Right.
I mean,
You're right.
a very friendly man, nondescript.
Named Smith.
Daniel Jones Smith.
Yeah.
John Smith.
Jones Smith. All right.
All right.
Cake pop?
Oh, I'm good.
Cake pop?
I would like to have a cake pop.
Should have a cake.
Oh,
That one.
Have that
I'll
cake
take
pop.
I'll have the broken cake pop.
the cake pop that leapt out in eagerness for you to eat it.
Okay, so what do you got? So you guys are
I think we're just gonna
Chill.
fly casual, help them get the miners back where they're going,
Yeah.
Send
door
out-
jobs.
send out
whatever.
the message, let them know, Access Foundation know what's going on, that we've done our mission, we're cooperating with the Navy, they're here, and give us our new mission soon, please.
Yeah, I guess once the Navy starts setting up a perimeter, we will ask the Navy when it's okay to start helping move the civilians back into their homes.
Yep.
Which is technically what we can do without stepping on their toes. And then we will basically facilitate shuttling the people back and helping them get settled into their homes and cleaning up and that kind of thing while the Navy is getting their asses kicked by stalkers.
right now. After like the first,
That seems absolutely not what's happening.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
They are going to kick the lurkers' asses.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
They've got mech suits.
They've got psychic.
Like-
They've got psionics.
I mean,
Probably do.
the U.S. Navy probably has their own psionics.
Right.
Yeah. And honestly, the psionics that the lurkers had wasn't exactly top notch. We took 2 of them out, and you were the only person who got hurt.
Okay.
No, we don't have mech suits.
You guys are all right.
about a day later, you get another message from Mr. Jones Smith saying that the captain on the ground has. This is the captain of the company, not the captain of the ship.
Okay.
He's on the ground. He can be called a captain. He's stated that he's given us the all clear. So the settlers can come back.
That is good news.
That's
It
fantastic.
says right now we're installing better security doors for their vaults, and we're going to provide them with some equipment in case any of these things show up again.
Was there any indication that you found that made them more aggressive? What started the attacks in the first place?
Don't know. We've got one. It's up on the ship, but we don't really have a lot of medical or science.
Oh, so you captured one?
No, it's dead.
I bet the miners killed one of their babies or something. It's always people who do shit like that. They always cause the problems for the poor animals.
Had no idea you were a vegan.
Well, I don't go to extremes about it.
But so yeah, I mean, we can also assist with the transport of the colonists back to the for those that choose to return.
Yes. Oh, good. We're done here. We can make that concert then.
Let's get the colonists back to their homes.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So we'll work in conjunction with them to get the colonists back to their homes.
Okay.
Making sure to not mention anything about our good friend Ethan.
Speaking of, I mean,
Has he gotten any closer?
like when you go,
Well, he says the gene sequences I've found that I can't find anywhere else that I think might be manipulations probably have to do with its enlarged occipital lobe.
so it's the psionics.
Did you say that out loud? Oh, okay.
No. They also did a little dance, and, like waved a sign that said psionics to Daniel Joe Smith.
And then he also says that it looks like this genetic manipulation was done a long time ago.
Like how many, like centuries, like millennia?
I think there has been some significant evolution since this was done.
So this is like some Kree shit right now.
Some Kree shit?
Sorry. Sorry.
So this might have been done by the ancients.
Or, you know, a
Humans.
really old government project before the ship got sent out, and then this was sent with the ship.
No, I think they'd know about it if it was sent to the ship.
Or they had a rogue scientist on board their generation ship.
I mean, then we'd at least be seeing, like, wouldn't it still be made of the same, like, juices and stuff as the colonists? It'd still have been from stuff on the ship.
This thing did not evolve on Earth. This thing is not made from something that evolved on Earth. That I can guarantee you. Because it's not like human DNA or any Terran DNA either.
So unless they stopped along the way somewhere to have a bit of a holiday during their generation ship.
Not in a generation ship. You would know this. Generation ships.
She's being sarcastic.
Okay. All right.
She doesn't think a generation ship stopped to
Stop
take a
for a
holiday.
holiday.
No, they can't. They can't do
They
that.
didn't. This is not Stargate.
No.
They're not
Exactly.
stopping to take tours of like all the unoccupied planets on their way over.
Right, exactly. Thank you.
I wonder if the miners found something in their digging, and that started their troubles, as you said. And I wonder if there is an old abandoned lab, an ancient ruin, somewhere on the planet's surface where these things came from.
Yes.
Well, I think the question is less now what caused them to attack and what brought them here in the first place. Because clearly they're not from here, so someone had to have put them here.
Something a long time ago. It's just this is somebody's forgotten science project, is what I'm thinking. But I still, if there's still evidence of the science project or where it originated, that might be very interesting.
But who's controlling it now?
There is definitely somebody because their behavior changed radically in the
Recently.
recently.
The ancients are still here. That's why the what is it? Do we call it? There's a word for it. What did you call it? The Americans. What is it?
Ustas?
The Ustas?
Yeah.
Okay. The Ustas are here. I didn't write that down so I don't forget that.
USTAS.
I'm running it from that. It's from
Ustas.
That's the name of the ship, right?
No, that's
No,
the
that's-
name of the
no.
government.
The name of the
Yeah.
government.
You.
United States of the Americas.
Gustas.
Ustas.
Where does the T come from then?
The
Ustas. The
United
Americas.
States of the Americas.
There's just no O. They didn't put the O in.
So they left out the O, but they okay.
Usotas.
Okay.
I was kind of with you too. I was like, the anagram isn't working out.
Oh, Americish.
The Ustas are here for the ancients that are here. I bet it's back down in that mine.
There is a possibility there could be more in the fog.
That's what I'm thinking, because they came from the fog into the mines. They didn't come out of the mines. Everything looks like they broke in, not out.
Yeah, this is about... Someone sent them in for the colonists.
Because they attacked
And
the
sent
colony
them up
first.
for the colonists. They attacked the mines first, and then it came into the town.
Yes.
So...
No. They attacked
Yes.
the town first, and then the mines,
No.
after everybody went into
They
the mines?
attacked the mines first.
Okay.
And then when they started sealing the mines off, then they went.
Because the mines are down... Okay.
So they're coming up from the planet's surface-ish origin, rather than the other way around.
Right. But
And
if they were digging in the mines and they found something old, and they're the biological weapon of the ancients, then they're sending them in to stop people from finding whatever's down there.
Ethan, is there any way that you can find a genetic marker that we can track?
Not from orbit. No. I mean, they're going to have a thermal signature that's going to be different than probably everything else because their internal core temperature is different than most of the other.
Throw us a bone here. If we were to try to find out where they're all congregating, how would we go about it?
Probably with a thermal scan.
Possibly.
I know we could maybe use a LiDAR or something, and perhaps we can get through the fog and find out if there's any ancient cities or ancient ruins on the surface.
Sure. Someone who knows about sensors might want to do that.
I do. I have sensors 1.
Okay.
But can we do that without the the Ustas ship immediately being like, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh, they'll know because you're turning on active sensors.
Yeah,
And they're like a bing, a little light will come on their ship, and they'll go, oh, they're scanning the planet. Or they're scanning. I may not necessarily know what, but I mean, they're using active sensors this entire time you've been here. So.
And, like, wouldn't we have been using active sensors the whole time,
Sure.
too? Like,
The only time you don't use them is when you're afraid someone might shoot at you.
So, yeah.
'Cause you're
so we've
basically
been using
telegraphing where
some
you are.
active sensors already.
Yeah.
So
Probably.
it's not like
Sounds like
they're going
any
to get
new-
any information that we haven't already been
Well,
But if you're
transmitting.
like trying to map, you're going to go on different orbits, and you know what I mean.
But
No,
really,
we're
we know where we should be looking because all the activity was centered on this one colony.
Right.
Or settlement.
We might end up doing thermal scanning. Now that that's a new idea.
We can say that we're doing it to see how many of the colonists are back, though, because they.
But
don't
also,
even-
if the only information that they're getting is that we are doing scanning,
Yeah.
active scanning, even if we're doing active thermal scanning, it's not like they're thermal scanning now.
Right.
It's just, oh, look, they're scanning still because they've already been scanning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't be in this kind of a situation. That would not be something that would be noteworthy, really.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. I'm gonna do
Go
it.
for it.
Damn.
Did you roll 2? Is that
That's
2
a
or
12.
12? I don't know. It's a symbol.
That's a W. It's
the Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman symbol.
Okay,
We roll
well-
2 dice.
Yeah, 2 dice.
Yeah. Okay.
He
Is that-
wasn't sure if you rolled a
the
12
letter
or
instead.
See, on
12.
some dice, the lowest number is the symbol, and some it's the highest. That's why I don't know.
Not on Wonder Woman dice.
Okay.
So 12, 13.
13.
And it's
okay.
it's a crit. It's a
Oh yeah,
it's a 12.
double.
Yes.
Doubles.
There are no crit successes. There's only crit failures in Traveler. It's one of the...
Well, you can, whatever.
But
I mean,
whatever,
you can
yeah.
get a better success, I think. I think if the effect is high enough.
That's
good
true.
things
Yeah,
happen.
I guess like when we were doing character creation, if you got a 12, it was
I know.
it was like a super. It was basically a crit success, and you got better things out of it.
Got round and round out of it, too.
Like
I know.
I graduated with honors.
Damn it.
I graduated with honors.
Honors.
We know you tell us all the time.
And you still ended up with us.
You know, when I went to university, where I graduated with honors.
Honors.
Break.
Are you talking about Pooja or are you talking about your character?
You graduate with no honors from school. Pooja was too busy. Pooja was too busy getting a degree in the arts.
Yep.
Yep. Majored in art, minored in theater. Hello. Painting.
You basically do your IR scans of the planet. Yes.
Can I have done a thing, like, because with my weird technology bent to, like, also be scanning for, like, ancient stuff that only I know about?
Like what?
Like what?
Ancient civilization, like, in rolling in my crazy...
Okay. Well, the one thing that you notice.
I probably... Okay, I'll like make this a thing. I probably have some weird ass theory about geological formations around the ancients,
Right.
and how they'd use it. So I'd be looking for,
Okay.
and it doesn't have to be a thing that actually works, but like, she's going to be convinced. of
Okay.
something.
All right. The one thing you notice, because you are able to pick these things up, there are quite a few of them on this planet.
Okay.
A rather significant population. They're not concentrated, though.
Oh.
They're very dispersed. I mean, they're... And this is something that would be very typical for a solitary apex predator.
I don't know that, but I'll say
Your
that.
character may not know
They're
that.
by themselves.
But someone who knows that kind of thing would notice that.
Does
But I mean,
anyone have any biology?
Or animals.
I have animal handling,
There
actually.
you go.
you can make an animal handling roll, sure.
I was like, is that close enough
Okay, I
to
got
know that like apex
Training
predators
horses.
are generally solitary?
Maybe. I don't know. Let's see how he rolls.
You're
This
trying to
is
rescue
Stork.
me already from myself?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
Everybody else, oh my god! And I have a 1 in it.
So 10.
And then you're going to add the in this case, probably your intelligence, whatever the DM for your intelligence is.
That's a 0, so no, there's no add.
So what's your total?
10.
10. Oh, okay.
I love that, like,
Yeah.
everyone else is so surprised. I'm just really clued into that, like, you always roll badly.
Yeah.
That, despite having absolutely no
No, it's-
evidence
yeah.
for it whatsoever in this game.
You found yourself anxious, didn't you?
Confirmation bias.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you rolled fine. Generally, despite, some
But
not
you
surviving
were
any of your
anxious.
careers.
And almost dying.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, that wasn't about your rolls as much as it was
That
about
was
his
my
rolls.
rolls.
Yeah, that's true.
You did fine. He did exceptionally well.
Yes, he did.
You do know that there are some exceptions. There are some apex predators that aren't solitary, but many are, and when they are, they tend to have sort of their territory that they hunt in, and they seem to be pretty dispersed. The little tiny yellow dots.
Even
Yes.
around Harper's Fen.
Yes. Well, there's none around Harper's Fen.
I thought
0.
it was Carpers.
Sorry.
Is it Carper's Fen?
I was like,
It is
why
Carper's
can't I
Fen.
write anything down
No, you're right.
Like,
It's Carper's Fen.
well, names have obviously not been my strong suit.
Well, that
the
isn't-
Andy Murphy.
it is interesting to note that they were attacking in groups, and now all of a sudden they're dispersed. It's also interesting to note that they're very territorial. Most predators have their own territory that they hunt in, and if another predator comes into the territory, they attack them. And yet, for small periods of time, they set aside those differences and work together. Perhaps under the control of something.
The ancients.
You're
Or people.
not wrong.
Yes.
Or people.
Something is definitely organizing them for brief periods of time. Because, we have reams and reams of information about wolves and such that, they travel in packs, but there are a lot of solitary predators that are very territorial and attack each other. This is not happening at certain times, and that's completely against type.
Are you talking in front of Two Crows?
Yeah, everybody.
Right.
I'm mostly in the med bay these days, drinking beer.
Two
and
Crows is
trying to
like,
heal.
well, actually.
Well, he goes over and gets one of the corpses. Mm-hmm. Well, it's all sliced up because he's been dissecting it, and he splits the head apart, and he shows you this is the sinus. There are pheromone receptors, a lot of pheromone receptors. You usually only see that in insects.
So it's a hive mind?
I'm sorry, pheromones like perfume?
Well, that's one kind, I suppose. There's a lot of pheromones. But it's one of the ways insects communicate.
Oh.
A lot of mammals communicate through pheromones as well. Is this even stranger than that? I'm not
It's
a xenobiologist.
This thing has a better sense of smell than a dog.
Okay, that's alarming, because dogs communicate a lot through smell.
Well, no wonder we could never sneak up on them either.
Yes.
Well, even one with clogged sinuses could have smelled the beer breath.
And there is a corresponding, whatever part of the brain does smell. There's a corresponding enlargement in that part of the brain as well. In addition to,
Hippocampus?
is it? I don't know.
I think you're right. That's the rest of our
Chat,
brain,
help,
right?
help.
So they got the big part of the brain where they can hear
The
each other.
occipital lobe,
Yes.
where thoughts were maybe being communicated back and forth, possibly, or someone's thoughts were controlling their actions.
There's evidence of this insect thing.
And then there was evidence that they communicate through smells, like dogs do. Do they have
More like insects do.
No, is one of them maybe like the natural way for them to communicate, and the other one something that got tweaked, like you were saying, we're messing around in there?
The genetic manipulations seem to center around the occipital lobe and these pheromone receptors, both. I don't think this animal was equipped with these two things before someone got a hold of it.
Interesting.
What does it mean, though?
But they
I
were
mean,
designed to be a hive mind. They were designed to communicate. For
They
what
were-
reason?
They were the protection force of the ancients on the planet.
I don't think you're
Or-
wrong. There's something to that.
Of course I'm not wrong. I've spent many years researching. This is the absolute truth. They are what started everything in the universe.
Or
Would you like a pamphlet? I have written a pamphlet about it.
Right,
No,
I've
is
read them.
that in EU or is that in your funny language?
What's funny?
All right. This isn't productive. Let's. So, what do we want to do about this? We've gotten this information now. What do we want to do?
well, we did the thermal scan, and then
Have it in many languages.
How old are you?
and we found that there are no other concentrations. But now it's a matter of figuring out where the markers that created these things came from, since whatever was controlling them isn't right now. We can't exactly trace it back in any way.
I wonder if
Unless
we
we can figure out what pheromones that these things are producing. Is there a way to do that?
Can we make a sniffer scanner?
I'm sorry?
Well, I mean, it's going to have scent glands. There's going to be remnants of whatever hormones it's producing. So, I mean, I can try to harvest some.
Yeah, and see if they're, natural to the biology or part of the tinkering, for lack of a better word.
Right. Well, it seems whatever it is also somehow centered around this one settlement, too, because no one else has had anything happen.
Right.
Unless they were directed to attack the settlement directly.
Right.
Well, yes, but that is a clue. I don't know what it means yet, but it is a point that this one mountaintop, this one settlement was targeted, and the others were ignored. I don't know how that's important, but it is. We're missing something. There's pieces
In
to
my
this puzzle.
research to the ancients, oftentimes the ancient technology would be hidden near or under a large mountain. I believe because they put receptors and their...
And how many artifacts have you found?
Like, I haven't actually found any. I have...
Okay.
I have
So,
observed many and
so-
handled them.
Let's backburner that for the moment and just move forward with finding the current person who's controlling these things.
That person couldn't be involved. There's no way to
Rather than
communicate.
worrying about the necessary origins of the thing, let's figure out who's doing it now.
Unless perhaps they're using ancient technology that they stumbled upon.
I mean, even if they are, we're still looking for someone who's alive now.
Right, but the ancient technology would still be in the same place that my research found.
Unless they moved it.
Well, yes, I can't help about
There's
that.
a lot of unlesses. She might be right. Perhaps it is in the mines. Perhaps
Oh no, I wasn't saying that it was in the mines.
Okay, maybe she's not right.
But
But it might be in the mines.
There would have to be some
Could
way
be in
that
the
the
mines.
colonists haven't found it, which makes me think it might be underneath the fog layer on the surface of the planet.
And the mines are also accessed through there. There's pieces to this puzzle we're missing. Clearly, this was let's see what we got here. Clearly, the settlement was targeted. Clearly, these animals are communicating in a way that we don't understand. We all heard voices, so there's somebody telling them what and how to do. These things aren't from around
We
here.
didn't hear voices. We heard voice.
We heard voice,
That spoke the language of the ancients.
and
No. The
They're-
voice spoke
No.
EU
But they said to
or
him-
Americish
They
or
said
whatever. What was it speaking in?
That is a good question.
You heard it in your native language.
EU.
Okay.
in our heads, yeah. So
But the miners heard it in theirs. So we don't know what language it was speaking.
Right.
It was speaking the language of the brain. It was speaking a you can interpret this as you will language.
I bet it was ancient. I bet our brains, since we are descended from them, all translate the origin language.
Well, if that was the case, then this ancient language that you write we would all be able to read it.
Well, reading and writing are two very different things.
So I'm of the mind that we talk to some of the miners and find out what transpired, what they did right before these things attacked. Because everything was fine and jolly for 100 years, you said? How long has this place been here?
Oh,
Couple hundred.
probably a couple hundred years.
And only recently did something happen. So,
That's why I think someone
but we don't know that
currently
until
is
we talk to them.
controlling it.
But what is it that the miners did that pissed them off?
It might not have been anything they did.
But we don't know that.
Right.
This is all conjecture. But until we talk to them and find out, and maybe find out what it is that they have done, if they did anything to piss off the general wildlife, because this isn't.
Well, when we
This
talked to
isn't
them,
just
didn't we
an
talk to them
accidental.
about that last time?
Yeah, I felt like we've already
I don't remember.
covered that.
Because, like, I feel like, I mean, I guess I could be misremembering, but we asked them.
One or two. What I'm wondering is if there's a code of silence, as it is often with.
Backwoods towns.
Yes.
I mean, not saying that they're backwoods, but like,
They're pretty backwoods.
Well, the army's probably gotten whatever truth they want out of them by now. So perhaps they'll be more likely to talk to us. Since we're the friendlier of the two options.
Bring
Yes.
them back to their homes. They might be more open to us. Yes.
We should probably take some nice.
I don't know where else to turn. I mean, obviously, there's obviously some things that are going wrong, but what else do we do? I mean, this is something. This is a shot, something to try.
Yeah. Could also follow the patterns of the ancients, but if you want to do the boring thing and talk to the miners, I will go with you.
yes, let's do the
The
board.
two might overlap.
Of course they'll overlap. That's fine. It's fine.
Let's do the board.
Yeah.
So you're going to talk to the miners.
As we transport them back to their homes.
Okay, all right. You
Perfect.
can absolutely
Well
do that.
done. You're the interrogator, right?
No,
No.
that's not right.
We should bring them some of your beer.
I think that's a great idea.
Yes.
They've been drinking that moonshine swill for way too long. I bet
Let's-
they'd appreciate
I
it.
think you're right. Let's do that.
Okay.
So, yeah, so as we're carting them back and forth, let's start asking them questions as far as, I'm so glad to be able to return to your home. Now, I hope everything's the way you found it. Was there anything specific that happened right before you left that might have affected your homestead?
A beer and a Diet Coke.
Were there any major projects you were working on that might have been waylaid by you being away for so long?
No. Well, okay. Do you? Are you like trying to look for anyone specific? Or
Probably if I
because
had
right now I don't know who you're talking to.
Okay, yeah, sure. I mean, I would probably try to start with anybody who appears to be high up in the mining company
Okay.
or the little government they've set aside for themselves.
There should be. There's no more Diet Coke in there. Oh, there's another whole case down there somewhere. If you want to, or not, I can do it. All right. I'm sorry.
You're fine. You're good. So let's
We're
start with
having
like
a minor Pepsi
someone high up in
before.
the mining company.
Okay. Sure. I mean, you can talk to like the. I don't know. What was his name?
Is our head of the miners' union?
They don't really have a union. It's like this settlement.
What is this town
Operates-
full of scouts? What?
This settlement mines this area, and then they sell it to merchants who take it to other places.
Oh,
So
so
it's
there's
not-
no parent company.
Not really. No,
Okay. So the workers have seized control of the.
they've had it pretty much the whole time.
It's a perfect Marxist society, is what you're telling me.
They've had it. They've had it. They've never had the generation ship colonists have never had control of this planet wrested from them, only because it's so difficult to live here.
Only because no one
Nobody
wants
else
to
wants
try.
Right.
It's like, no, you're fine. Don't worry.
Okay.
No, but okay. So
The council chairman, Dwight Corson.
Perfect. So I'm glad to see you're getting to go home. You're kind of back to your homestead and back to your lives. I am concerned. Like, was there any projects you might have been working on before the evacuation that might have been waylaid or damaged by these creatures?
No, not really. We have quite a bit of damage to some homes that we're going to have to repair, and I'm sure the mines are in shambles.
speaking of, how new were your lowest tunnels?
9, I think it was 8 or 9. A year, perhaps.
Yeah. So no new, like really new evacuation or anything like that would have.
No.
We're just trying to ensure that with the new security measures in place, that they get applied around the board.
Right. Yeah.
Safety first.
Now, I do remember because sometimes you can hear them fight
Oh, you hear them fighting?
at night. Sometimes you can hear them. You can hear them fighting each other.
What noise do they make when they're fighting?
It's kind of a.
So they sound like giant pigs.
But I can't really do it. It's much lower.
I'm an asshole, sorry.
I was just going to say, do they make a noise too? Make that noise for us. Dance for us, jam, dance.
That's 100% why I asked that question.
I appreciate it,
Yep.
even if no one else does.
Oh, it was lovely.
And there was a lot of fights days before the attack started because first group that disappeared were hunters.
You hunt?
Were they hunting these creatures specifically?
No, they tend not to because there's really nothing to harvest from them.
I wasn't sure if it was to keep down the population, if there was any kind of issue.
Hadn't been a problem.
My understanding is they take care of that on their own. They bump into each other and one of them, I don't know, I guess they eat each other. I don't know. It's hard to tell.
2 apes enter, 1 ape leaves.
Exactly.
Y'all haven't found anything like super old lately, like ruins or something? Things
No.
with interesting symbols in the rocks or something?
No.
Have there been many expeditions beneath the fog layer? Have you taken a look at what's beneath you?
Oh, well, some surveys, yes, of course. I mean, that some of our source of fresh water has to come from down there, but it has to be extensively filtered. There's lakes and there's an entire ecosystem down there.
So there could be ancient beings down there that maybe you haven't seen yet that are living down there in the fog. Just for example.
I suppose.
She looks pointedly to everyone else. Eyebrows raised.
We haven't
Not
searched
meeting
it.
your eyes.
No.
Not meeting your eyes. Ignoring the
Almost
fact
looking
that
at
this even...
almost looking at Dwight apologetically for the question.
Okay.
I'm just pretending it didn't happen. And, just as no one amongst your survivors or anything has been acting strange. No outbreaks, no odd behavior. You never know what you might catch from a different species.
No diseases. that I know of. There was some. Several people said that they could hear things in their heads.
Stress affects all of us in different ways. But
A lot of them, though.
But like before the attacks began, no signs of
No,
aberrant behavior out of anyone.
no.
Yes, but like you've heard of mob panic and mass hallucinations.
Sure,
We all cope in our own ways.
I suppose.
And it can be reassuring to think that something that you have no lines of communication open with can hear and understand and communicate with you.
True, but some of our most level-headed people maintain this.
Even level heads will crack under pressure. Did anybody disappear who you've had no record of since? Like, did you find anybody missing that you didn't find a remains of after?
Absolutely.
Before the attacks began.
Yes.
Any disappearances?
Occasionally, mostly it would be hunters, because if we're going down into the mines, as you recall, the path is very clearly marked. But the hunters don't follow that path. Obviously, they go out.
What are they hunting exactly if they're not hunting the lurkers?
Mostly-
They're down in the fog, correct? Is that
Yes,
what you're...
yes, indeed, yes. Yeah.
So what are they hunting since you don't consume the local fauna?
Small game, mostly for furs.
Mm.
The winter gets very cold.
I can only imagine. I mean, you're quite high up.
Indeed.
So out of your... Who leads your hunter pack? Cast, whatever you call it here.
Well, there's usually they go out in pairs, sometimes groups of 3. We don't really have a leader per se. There's a few here. This is, I'm assuming, on the ship heading back to the settlement, or are you talking to him at the...
I mean, we're on the ship heading back to the settlement
Okay,
because we
all
want
right.
to kind of keep these conversations contained to
To us.
to us, and also to like the veneer of conversation while traveling.
Right.
We're not interviewing anyone. We are not continuing, we're just making convo
I was sitting
as we go.
I'm sitting here thinking I wasn't here, but you know what? I actually have pilot small craft, so I'm probably
You might be-
piloting
you might be
my
piloting.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, I figured you would totally be here.
I was figuring I wasn't. 'Cause I've been. Last thing I said was I was convoying in the med bit, but
But if
I'm better now.
He tells
I can
you
at
that
least fly.
if you'd like,
Feel better.
I can introduce you to one of our more experienced hunters once we get to the settlement.
There's voices that everybody said that they were hearing. Do you have a record of what it is they said? What they heard?
All kinds of different things. Mostly it was a word, perhaps a couple of words.
Did you ever hear them?
No.
Yeah, it's probably just stress.
That's funny, thanks to the brain. So I hear. And then, yeah, let's,
What was the date? The first time that they attacked your town?
I don't remember exactly when that was. What did I say? It was 2 months ago, probably.
Something like that.
Might have been a little more than that.
Were they attacking regularly after that, or was it just sort of sporadically?
They would occasionally lurk near the pathway from the lift to the mine entrance. And then once we started arming some guards to escort people, they stopped doing that. Then somehow they found their way into the mine.
Was there more than one, or was it always one at a time? That were attacking. Did you see when they were attacking on the path? Was it one creature or many?
Well, most of them I don't know because no one survived to report. But the one after we started sending escorts, it was generally multiples that would attempt. But they only attempted a couple of times and then changed their tactics.
Prior to the first attack, was there anything different in the village? Did you have a celebration? Did you find something in the mine that was interesting? That was a cause for commotion? Was there?
Riley gives them a dirty look because she thinks she asked that question already.
Did you start up any new machinery?
No.
How?
The only significant event that happened before all of this started was that big fight amongst the lurkers themselves.
Did you have a visitor in a month or two before they showed
Where did
up?
that fight take place?
I don't know exactly where, but you can hear it echoing off the cliffs from the depths, and it seemed to be more than two.
How long ago did they start being able to open the doors?
Oh, that happened. That happened shortly after we started escorting the miners.
How many original people came off your colony ship?
Probably 1,000, I would guess. Just probably 1,000.
Okay.
He probably has. Oh, well, here's the history book of our generation ship.
Oh, that's very interesting. Thank you
Captain
for that.
Elias the 12th.
That's fantastic. She's a fantastic historian.
Do they,
very interested in history.
out of character, would they have cannibalized the ship for?
It was probably designed for that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so there is no hulk of a wreck sitting around anymore. They would have. Yeah, okay, I get it. That makes
yeah,
sense.
probably
that makes perfect sense.
probably the original settlement. It was mostly used. I mean, a lot of it. These are very big ships, obviously, and they're not going to re-enter the atmosphere well. So, I mean,
A lot of it's still up there. Just
right.
okay.
Or re-entered and burned up, or they disassembled it up there and
Yeah.
used what they could.
No, that
and
makes
let the
perfect
rest of
sense.
it burn up. I would imagine. That's how I would run a generation.
It's your world, and that's
Well, Stu.
And what you say
so
does go.
say we all.
Well, you know, might be nice to have a chat with the hunters and just go over some new, like, make sure that they're aware that, like, the security policies and the equipment that Navy's coming in with, like, is for, you know, the mines. So it's possible that we could go over some techniques and keeping themselves safe and, like, ask the Navy for some additional equipment based on that. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Want to keep everybody as safe as possible, and it sounds like the hunters have actually been in the most danger up until now.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Riley is actually reading the history book.
Okay.
Can I keep this for a while?
We only have a few copies.
Oh, all right. Well, do I have a thing I could, like, scan or something?
Of course.
Okay. I'm going to scan it so I can read it. It seems very interesting to me.
Oh, thank you.
The iPhone picture.
You know, he probably
equivalents.
already has digital copies of it.
Oh, okay.
Good. I mean, this is a backwater, but it's not that much of a
All right.
backwater.
Do you have it digitally that you can
The
send to
future
me?
backwater.
Right. Yes.
Do you have a PDF of it?
Probably. Yes. Sorry, we only have Kindle files. Oh, it's encrypted. You have to go download something off the internet to convert it.
No.
And so, hope it doesn't work.
Probably not wrong. It's like the generation when we left, this was high tech.
We were so fancy.
All right. So I'm going to get that.
Okay.
It's in a really old format.
Right. Oh, yeah.
It's fine.
So then, is there, like, a senior hunter representative hanging out
Sure.
somewhere?
Yeah, when you guys arrive, he goes and introduces you to Dylan Dowd.
Wait, before we talk to him, I think Kelly's going to pull you guys aside. All right, so I have a theory. There are about 1,000 of them who came off that generation ship. What if they crossbred with the ancients who were here, and now they have a bit of psionics, and they're able to communicate? And maybe if they somehow tripped these creatures, like, with their own fear or something.
But
If
let's-
not all of them, maybe at least one.
Right, but let's assume for a moment that is the case.
Right.
There's still someone pulling the strings of those creatures.
Right.
So we have to find who that person is.
Right. Well, I mean, it could be, or there's just one of them that just happens to be more gifted than the others. Because, I mean, these people have been inbreeding for generations
Yeah, but if you
now.
think about, like, what we, even just the words and phrases that we heard. Prey, fear. I mean, someone is actively controlling them, not passively, no one is thinking of themselves as prey and then causing these people to attack all the rest of the miners.
Unless the miners are communicating with each other and they didn't know that these animals were going to be able to listen in.
And
They would not have thought of themselves as prey.
And they're using
no
simple
human
commands.
thinks of themselves
They were thinking
as
of
prey.
us as their prey.
Except right at that last minute.
Well, yes.
But I'm saying that, like, that wouldn't have triggered the animals attacking. Like, even if there is a latent psionic ability amongst this population, that doesn't explain the coordination, like forcing them to work outside of their nature. Starting at a specific time when, in terms of the miners themselves, nothing else had changed. It was business as usual for them.
And
So we're looking for an exciting incident or person, right?
You're making a lot of sense, and Riley's not going to buy it. She thinks it's aliens. I'm going to just give you that, Pooja.
I mean, I'm just going to, like, continue to
Right.
not think that anything you say has any...
Right.
I'm just going to continue to think that nothing you say has any merit whatsoever.
That is 100% my goal.
I think she's right in a way. I think what we're hearing is alien, because the commands that they are giving us are simple and guttural. What? Pray. This one is slow. What did you hear?
So you think it's latent minor
I
fear.
think one of the creatures has psionic ability and is leading them. I think the fight was a battle for dominance. So one of the creatures is one of her ancients, and is leading the other.
Oh, no. That's definitely not the ancients. They're not going to be naked monkeys. They're going to be a higher form of life.
Well, this could be the Asians' science project.
I certainly hope you're right.
Of course I am. I've spent many years studying this with some of the top scientists in the known galaxies.
Yes.
I have a pamphlet that has their names.
Oh, the scientists' names.
Well, some of them didn't actually want to appear in the pamphlet.
Some of them actually filed lawsuits that made me take them out.
Doesn't say that in the pamphlet.
But I do agree. I believe that we should speak with the hunters. They seem to have the most connection with the planet itself. And anything that the miners already know, they may know. And not know they know.
All right.
It's also possible that they've seen this leader and not put the piece together. I mean, if there's a larger one or one with a bigger brain or a different color, perhaps, I don't know. I think at some point they heard a fight for dominance and something took over and is now leading them.
Right, so let's go talk to Dylan Dowd.
Okay. He's over there trying to put his house back together.
They're good, aren't they?
Could you use a hand with that?
I suppose. Do you not swing a hammer?
Well, I'm familiar with the motion.
He's building a door. Because his door got ripped in half.
I have this wonderful compatriot, Vesa.
Right? And Riley. They are so good at the physical labor.
No, but I have people who can do that for us. He gives you, like, he hands you a hammer and he says, why don't you help me finish with the door jam?
Of course.
It looks nothing like jam to you at all. You have no idea why
Not
anybody
marmalade.
would eat that with bread.
Here, Riley, would you want to help this
Oh no,
man?
I'm reading this very interesting history book.
Fine. I'll do it. This will be fine.
What could possibly go wrong?
So,
It's a Thurston
I mean, the
Howell
door
third.
is mostly up, right?
Well, he's building a door, like, on a set of sawhorses.
Oh, okay.
And then he has to fix the door frame. So
To
that's
make
what
it,
he's
like,
doing.
square.
Right, so that the door will fit.
great.
Because he doesn't get to go down to Home Depot and buy a door that already has the door
Right.
frame.
So I can just do what I do at Fairbuild, just screw it while he screws it in?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, good.
Exactly.
I'm helping.
Hold this in place.
Having an extra set of hands to hold things is very helpful.
Absolutely.
Do not
Absolutely.
overestimate
Nope.
or do not underestimate the quality assistance just holding things steady is. She says, as she's had to use many different methods because when you try to do construction and you live alone, it kind of sucks.
Oh, yes.
Or even in the movies,
All right,
on the back of a truck. Stand
So
on this while I
I'll
cut
hold
it.
the door frame and just start some polite conversation. Something to the effect of, I'm sure you're glad to be home now that the situation is over.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Great. And how soon do you think you'll be out hunting again?
Oh, as soon as I have a door.
So any expeditions coming up then? Anything?
Oh, I'll probably go in a couple days, I would imagine.
Days. Have the military, the Navy, trained you in ways of taking care of the lurker issue? In case you run into any of them again?
There's some fella said he was going to see if he could get us some better weapons.
There's better weapons.
You don't want to hold off until you get some better equipment, or like maybe come up with some better plans, or what happens? It sounds like the hunters have taken the brunt of the casualties since you have encountered the lurkers at all.
Oh yeah, we always do. I mean, you got to watch out for them. They get touchy when you get in their land.
There's some vicious beasts.
Yeah.
How many men have you lost?
Last 10 years, maybe 8.
Was there a step up in the attacks on the hunters before all this crap happened in the mines?
We started seeing them more often. There used to only be one, kind of in this area around where we hunt, and then it looks like he started getting squeezed in from the north and from the east. A couple more of them.
And then you found that's when the attacks stepped up, huh?
Yeah, they had a big fight. You can hear them. I've heard them fight before. Usually down there, it's actually quite terrifying when you hear them fighting down there because you can't see more than about 5 feet in front of your face, and it echoes around in those canyons. But when they go after it, usually one of them dies or runs away. But this one, it sounded like there was 3, maybe more.
Wow. When was that?
He tells you, like, I don't know, 3 months ago or whenever that, just before the distress thing went out.
And being familiar
In
with
the days before
the
that.
terrain down there, would you know approximately where that fight might have taken place?
Well, it's kind of hard to tell because they echo around. But it was out. He kind of goes over to the edge near where the lift is. It says it was kind of started over in that way, and then it kind of traveled a little, and then it kind of went over that way a little bit.
That's really interesting. And then, I mean, future, maybe you do want to hold off going back down there until you get the better weaponry that the Navy's coming up with.
Well, they said we'll have it in a day or so.
That's-
And I've taken a couple of these things out before, so they're not that bad as long as you don't let them sneak up on you. And plus, I don't go down there at night.
Perfect. That's a smart plan. But, I mean, your other hunters, can you, when you get those attacks, must be really difficult getting them, getting them back to their families after for, proper services.
Oh, there's usually not much left. They do tend to eat. Well, they're a predator. That's what they do.
Okay.
So, in your wanderings about the planet, have you ever come across something really old buildings or strange markings on the... No?
Nah.
Right, well.
No, I probably ranged probably 15 miles in, pretty much every direction. I never seen anything like that.
You growl.
She's not convinced. She just thinks, he's a miner. He wouldn't recognize the signs.
Trying to think what else to ask him.
Well, whatever you do, don't ask him who kicked his door in, because I'm pretty sure this is the same place I kicked in to get his His moonshine.
No, I broke the window for that one. And then I went around and opened the door.
I seem to recall door kicking failing miserably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And not kicking it in.
Yeah, I tried to kick the door and it didn't work, so I went around and
You're
broke
right.
the window.
You're right about that. Okay, good. It's not that house. Somebody's been in my still. Yeah, bet it was my neighbor. He's always coveted my still. Yeah, so I guess I'm just going to keep shuttling people with our air raft to their various homes and such.
Okay, so while they're asking the miners questions and stuff, like Riley's gonna like lean in, like kind of staring awkwardly, like trying to communicate telepathically with them. She doesn't have psionics, but so like while like they're all asking like these basic questions, she's just gonna be like,
Okay.
"Can you hear what I'm thinking?" Is like what she's thinking at them.
It's the ace of spades. Ace of spades.
Was that a scene in Ghostbusters where one of them actually was psychic? He kept denying
And
it.
it gets.
Yeah.
Well, he got one right.
Yeah.
They were all wrong, and he was electrocuting him every time. And then he gets one right, and he electrocutes him anyway.
Yeah.
Which is
So yeah, that's what she's doing. Probably completely humiliating Milo. Milo's just like leans back.
Oh, you just...
whatever you just sent didn't actually come through for some reason.
Oh, really?
It was like it popped up on my notifications, but it refuses to. Oh, there it goes. Sorry, it was like, here, you're gonna have this message.
Slack does
but like
that
then
sometimes.
it's like,
Yeah.
but I'm not gonna show you what it is.
I've had notifications, and then it takes a while for the actual message to come in. It's really
Let's
weird.
go to space.
It does.
I think that they're psychic. I really do.
And what possible facts do you have to back that up?
Well, we heard psychic voices in our heads.
But that is
Sorry,
already
speaking
what
about
he
the
told us.
creatures?
Oh, it is.
About
Okay,
the
let
miners.
me add to that. Hold on.
Well, I mean, obviously, everyone on this planet is psychic.
Ah, yes. Everyone is psychic.
Well, they've
That
all-
rock is psychic.
That's not a living thing. Of course, it's not psychic.
I take offense
I'm
to
sorry
how
that you don't-
close that pointing was at me when you said that.
I turned and go between the two.
Oh, I have so much to learn, Milo. I know it's hard. There's so much out there.
Yes, I'm sure my education at the university clearly was not enough.
I mean, they don't teach you what's really important.
Don't they though?
My diploma would say
I mean,
differently.
the real education is the friends we made along the way.
Agreed.
Exactly.
And enemies.
And enemies.
Some of it's more than others.
Some of us might have more enemies than others.
I've always found that you can usually figure things out if you see through the bottom of a glass.
Well,
Like code breaking or something? Like something special paint?
Yes.
Sure.
Bradley, come on. You're Irish, you know.
I never let my glass be empty enough to see through the bottom.
That's why we get along so well.
all right, do you have any more questions for Dylan? I think I'm tapped.
Just like, none of the hunters went missing outside of confirmed attacks.
No. Yeah, basically, and it doesn't happen. It's like maybe not even once a year that happens.
No, good. I'm glad that things look like they'll get back to some semblance of normal, and hopefully you'll be able to better hold them off thanks to the intervention.
Yeah, I'd like one of those suits. They said they won't give me one.
Wouldn't
I'd
we
like-
all? Wouldn't we all?
It probably win a
Technically,
wrestling
no, I
match.
don't.
No, I have no interest in one. I would end up killing myself in it.
But
that's
these
fine.
two would really love one of these suits.
I think he's holding something back. He's not being completely honest with us.
What gives you that idea?
To read his mind.
And moving on.
Yep.
You just took my lines, dude.
Sorry.
Oh, can I put this down yet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he's like halfway across,
Oh, okay.
working on something else. You're like,
Can I let go now? Can I let go?
nope, 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. Thank you so much for the information. And if you need anything, the Exodus Foundation is always here to help.
Oh, I could use a hand holding this door up while I hang it.
Riley?
I'm sorry, I still have this very large book in my hands.
So you mean that they wouldn't normally possess it until they become linked? Like those functions of their brain only activate when they've been activated by linking.
Yes.
Okay.
That's basically what he's saying, yeah.
Also, Slack just went off.
You're going to help him with the door? It's very polite.
like,
impolite to
"Oh,
not
fine."
help
Right.
him.
I'm like, but I have internet. And it's like, I don't care.
Sometimes I've noticed that Slack will send notifications
Yes.
Yeah.
late. I mean, the information will be there, but the notification's like, I'm going to wait a little bit.
Sometimes I get the opposite. I get the notification before I get the info. It's, Slack is very strange. They've been trying to fix it, and I don't know if they're doing any good with
Very
it.
It's
good
good that we
job.
got a new logo.
Well, the vast majority of people that use it are using it for free, so they probably...
Right.
I mean,
Back in, like,
still amazing. Like,
It
you
is.
know what? The common thread here, besides the fact that no one particular from the community has been acting strangely or disappeared without, evidence of attack, and a body part or 2 or 5, is that there was this fight right before all of this started. And that's what I think we need to focus on.
I agree. I think we should try to find the location of where this fight was and see what happened.
It's a
And-
territory dispute, so something came in and took over.
Plus, it wasn't
Were
just
they
two.
able? Was Tucros able to extract any of the pheromone and see if he can maybe, track some of it into the into location, like evidence of it? Or if we can.
Oh,
scan
to
it
be able
that
to
way?
sense it?
Or at least triangulate
Somehow?
the location of this fight.
Like where there was because I guess here's my theory: is that normally they're solitary predators. When they had this melee, possibly just by being forced together, the hunter said they're normally confined to their territories, and then 3 months ago, after this territory specifically getting smaller and smaller, and 3 of them being in closer and closer proximity, there was a 3-way melee. What if it wasn't a person necessarily triggering any of this? And we've kind of been thinking about it wrong. That something about this melee, something about the proximity of 3 of them so close together, tripped kind of a switch in their genetics, and they became a unit.
Became a pack animal instead of a predatory. Or a
They
hunter.
became a pack animal because of their altered physiology. That portion became active and linked them together mentally. And we saw 2. The Navy got 1. So that kind of accounts for all of the ones that were part of this fight, right? That we've heard about so far.
In
Makes
this area. I'm of the mind that this environmental stress triggered one of them to have psionics, and he's controlling the rest. And this territory fight was him moving in and taking over.
Well, that's just crazy.
Well, this whole situation's crazy.
But it does mean that, because one became the dominant one, it won the fight, it became the leader of the pack, but they're as pack animals suddenly. This changes to their psychology was what made them pack animals versus predators, solitary predators.
They have to get together in family groups at some point. They have to mate, and there has to be offspring at some point. So there has to be some groupings at some point. Perhaps it's a family unit. I'm not saying you're wrong, but I'm trying to figure out
if
a way to
all
make
the
this
adults, if all the adults are solitary, there are many species that I know of as a person who rarely watches the Discovery Channel. The females
Read
would
as all the
raise
time.
Read as never.
Oh, I do all the time.
That it's not like there's a male unit that takes care of the children. It's not a family unit
No.
like humans have a family unit. It's like the male impregnates a female, and the female has the kids, and she raises them till they can fucking raise themselves, and then they go on their separate ways. So, like, there's nothing saying that this wouldn't be that situation. And it's like everything points to that being their normal behavior, and then this being like super abnormal behavior for them, and it all centered around when that fight started.
Yeah.
So this is just another theory, but like our someone else is controlling them theory didn't take into account their
Solitary nature.
their solitary nature, and also that these changes happened so long ago. Like, whatever genetic manipulations were done to them were done hundreds of years ago.
if not thousands.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
so
but-
let's find out where this, like, see if we can track anything down to where this fight happened. But it's possible that this was kind of like a freak accident thing.
Here's another thought, which is we can take these pheromones and lure them to us and capture them, or
Have them kill us.
well, yeah. Hopefully that's not the end game, but maybe we can get them to us, and it's a way perhaps of at least getting them, capturing one, so that we can study them.
Well, according to Two Crows, he thinks that the enhanced pheromone detection, like those portions of their olfactory systems, aren't active unless they're already linked, unless they're part of that unit, that hive mind. So the hive mind comes first, and then those other senses come after. And like are only triggered by the hive mind.
Well, maybe they don't need to be near each other because they can talk without being near each other. Like, is it like being on radios or something?
I think they have to be activated first. So,
Yeah.
like what she's saying, so they would have had to have come together first, and maybe they can communicate telepathically after the fact.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, like if there's a mom and she's got her little pups or whatever you call them, maybe they're already on the same wavelength, and then they go away, and they could be miles and miles away, and they're still like calling mom back on the phone on the olfactories. I mean, if they are related, enough of them are related to each other at this point after being here for that many years, maybe they're all got the little, they're all in the same phone plan, as it were.
But that doesn't explain the change in behavior.
No.
No, but it might mean like, if they had to come together, they might be able to.
She does bring up yet another interesting point. Well, I think one step at a time. We should probably go look at this area where they had this conflict and see if there's any clues,
The ruins.
ruins,
think
bodies,
there is.
anything. That's the. It's a start. It's a step. What was that sound? That's a new sound.
I'm getting notifications left and right. It has,
Yeah.
has to do with tax season.
I see.
I think that we should see what we can scan from the ship first, because we're definitely going to. We definitely still have the Navy breathing down our backs, and I don't want to do anything that would
Draw
make
unwanted
them
attention.
come board our ship or follow us around or wonder what we're not telling them. So anything that we can do under the cover of scans, but in terms of like an actual physical expedition, I think it's a bad idea.
I actually think since we're already planet-side walking them around, if we were to just leave right now and go check out this space, which is only a couple of clicks away, I think we could probably do it and get back here without raising their suspicion. I don't see any tails on us. If we start pinging areas around, they might actually get suspicious. I think we're here. We've been landing on the planet. They can't keep track of us all the time.
Well, I mean, technically,
Yes, they can.
they kind of can.
Technically, they absolutely can. Right?
Oh, sure.
I mean,
They might be listening to your conversation, and you know, there's a lot of sophisticated spy tech. And they have those little parabolic. Now we have those little parabolic ear things you can use to hear people talking
Right.
at great distances.
Well, at least I have a probe that like lets us know we're not bugged.
Right.
We're here
no one
now.
is actively on us right now.
We're here now, and it's what time is it?
It's probably like close to dinner time, probably.
Oh, so it's nighttime. That would be a bad, or a good time to go.
A terrible time to go unless you want to,
Actually encounter them?
again, that went so well for you last time.
Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
It would be better to wait till morning. We're looking to investigate the area, not necessarily them.
I'm not overly fond of getting into a tangle with more than one again, ever.
Well, perhaps if we spend the night with the townspeople, then we can get up super early in the morning and head out, and the army may not notice.
That's a capital idea, and they have some great moonshine.
Yes,
They do
perhaps
not.
we could organize some kind of
Celebration.
yes, for coming back home. And
Does he
maybe
think
get the
that-
Navy a little...
I'm on it.
Just
All right, everybody, we're gonna have an old Finnish Terran salute called a kegger.
Go ahead.
Do you guys think that like stress or injury or like what would prompt the click over into like a hive mind unit? What would prompt like an activation?
Probably proximity, he says. Because their occipital lobe is not very powerful, not very large. I mean, it's enlarged, but it's not enlarged like he would see in certain types of people.
So it really is like at this point it's looking more and more likely that three of them got together, had a brawl, but them being so close to each other at the same time for long enough clicked, like activated a latent part of their physiology.
Right. And then that's his working theory right now, yeah.
So I was just completely wrong about somebody pulling the strings on this. Oops.
No, we weren't.
This is you and him
Yeah.
talking. We can't hear any of this,
I know.
right? Yeah.
No, but I think it's out of character talking.
That was her communicating with
Oh,
Two
super.
Crows.
Sorry,
With
I
Two Crows.
misunderstood.
So, yeah.
So I'm going to start walking into the town. It's like, gather around. I'm going to basically do a stone soup party, which is everybody brings their
got it.
favorite alcohol,
I have this experience.
and we combine it into one big. We divide it out, and everybody we have a taste testing party, and we all celebrate the fact that everybody's welcome home.
Okay.
And maybe while we've got the Navy enjoying some of this, I can use a bit of carouse to try to get information out of them.
This is the miners.
Oh, I'm sure the Navy will have the Navy join us too.
Sure, if the Navy wants to,
have people
absolutely.
down there.
Right.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So we'll maybe get some of them to judge, which is the best.
There you
Alcohol.
go. Well done, because I actually have no party planning skills.
Oh, I've got carouse 1. Like we're good.
I got nothing. I got tactics,
I've got persuade.
survival.
All right. So yeah, let's get
There
this
really
started.
needs to be a party planning skill.
There is.
There's
It's called carouse.
I got it.
Would it be under art though? Party planning.
All right. Do you need to make a carouse roll or?
Sure.
All right.
What do you want to? You're going to try to talk to one of the who's
Yeah. So I'm going to try to.
What's your target?
Basically, I'm going to try to get one of the middle-ranking naval officials to be the judge for this alcohol testing.
Yeah.
Get
Okay.
him a good, little schmammered.
Like a platoon sergeant or something
There you
like
go.
that. Okay.
Perfect. And just try to
Whatever you say.
glean any information from him that I can about what did you find, how are you enjoying it, oh, did you fight any of them, were you in the fight that took that one out, like try to pump him for information.
You want to get him drunk
All right.
and then take advantage of him.
No.
Get him drunk and take information from him.
5, 6, 7 for social. So 7 total.
These guys have been shipboard for a long time, so your difficulty is probably not 8. It's probably 6.
Okay, sweet.
So I'm going to say it's Corporal Paulo Braga, the guy you met.
Oh,
before.
perfect.
The same guy.
Paulo.
He's Brazilian, or Brazilian in name at least.
Good job with the variety of names there, Stu. Appreciate that.
I've used the best random name generators I can find, because it's called Fantasy Name Generator, and I have not had a nation like putting in I want random Japanese names or I want random whatever names. I have not. It has not yet not had a listing on Google. The Fantasy Name Generator.
Oh yeah,
Almost every nationality, it's got a name generator.
it's such a great resource because that's one of the things that trips me up whenever I'm. It's like, well, there's frickin' frack. Oh,
Right.
I actually need to come up with a name.
Freaking crack.
Take
love
the
it,
extra
like-
30 seconds to look up a name. Come on.
Autograph. Yeah.
Okay, so he's agreed to be the judge.
Great.
You come up with some sort of silly hat for him to wear.
Oh, of
the
course
judge
I
hat,
do.
right?
Yeah, it'll be native, so it's something the miners will have created.
Right.
Something ridiculous. All right, cool. And
I'm trying to think of like Appalachian hats.
It'd be those like Ashoka hats with the little like what
The
what
Russian trapper hats?
Yes, or what Elmer Fudd used to wear, one of those hunter hats with the little ear puff things.
Maybe.
Or
Not.
I
Well,
would say more ridiculous.
when I looked
I'm
up,
imagining adding fur to it, like adding some of the fur pelts they've gotten from the hunters.
I'm sure that they came up with something specific to their culture on this planet.
here's what I got when I searched for Appalachian hats, and it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
They're trucker hats.
They're just baseball caps.
Yeah.
You know
Baseball
what?
caps.
Like, I feel like
But
there's
they're
gotta be
future
more.
baseball caps.
There's gotta be more.
Yeah. And we can all think of something.
Maybe they're made out of the predatory animals.
They probably are something like a cowboy hat.
What if you have like it's like a combination of like the 10-gallon hat, but with like a baseball cap brim.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, that's good. And by good, I mean terrible, and I hate it.
Just saying.
Like a
It's
top
not
hat with
everyday
only a-
wear.
A
It's
couple,
not everyday wear.
a couple thousand years in the future, I could see how those two could meld together into one. The
I
baseball
want one.
cap and the cowboy hat became one.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So, I have a question.
Yes.
How do I go about getting followers?
Ooh, that's an interesting question. Give me a second.
Okay.
You want to continue your?
Because none of us are going to be your followers.
Clearly.
I've come to accept this. There are members of the crew who are more open-minded than all of you, but
Gullible.
yeah, I don't know if she would do that right now because she is also like afraid of the Ustas like finding out about her artifact and taking it away from her. But just for future reference.
It might be a good note for later, yeah.
Yeah, and if I'm given the opportunity at this drunken party, if someone, like brings it up, but she's definitely walking around the party, like leaning in, like with the Jean Grey pointing at, like 2 fingers pointing at her temple, like thinking super loudly at people. And Milo's like, punch her.
Will you stop? All right. So yes, I'll get this whole big to-do. Put the hat on him, which I do like that idea of the 10-gallon hat with the bill.
Right.
And I still like the idea of maybe finding, almost like adding like a coon skin or some kind of like animal on top of it. Like creating like earmuffs.
Well, what if it's got like that, like whatever the pelt is that they go down for furs, and it's got like a strip of that around the bottom of the 10-gallon, like above the bill.
Oh, there you go.
I like the whole
feel
pelt,
like I'm
like
playing
like
with
Steve
Or-
Dave's Popsy Badger pelt that he puts on top of his hat.
It's like a mullet.
All right, the
You
redneck.
get a tag.
Yes, there it is.
I'm sorry, the redneck in me is now getting offended. Can we move forward?
Just saying,
well-
it's like the tail.
What is that? What is that hat? It's a military brimmed hat. It's not a baseball cap, but it kind of goes up and it has a flat top on it.
Oh.
And then they make some of them for desert warfare that have like 2 flaps that come down at the back so your back of your neck doesn't get burned. They might have something.
I mean, they can have a lot of things.
That would be a.
More importantly, am I able to psychically communicate with any of these people?
I feel like I'm playing with Sam here. We're spending all this time on fashion.
I think that would be
No.
that would hinge on you being able to psychically communicate. Period.
Although, if you want,
can't.
you can make a roll to see if you believe that you've created a psychic connection.
I don't know what to roll to believe that. Can I just believe that? Because I feel like if I...
Sure.
Because I don't want to roll and succeed, because then I might actually make a psychic connection and that ruins the funny.
Well, don't worry about that.
What do I roll?
You're metagaming your own metagame.
Yeah.
Don't worry about succeeding.
So what do I roll to fail?
Oh my god.
Well, wouldn't you have to succeed to convince yourself that you made a psychic connection with someone?
Yes, I would think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
However,
I think it wants you to roll because there's an offhand chance you might develop
That's
psionics
actually possible.
on this planet.
I
that
don't
would be
have it-
amazing.
I don't have it on my character sheet at all, though. So what do I roll for it? Psionics?
If you have a critical fail, who knows?
Okay,
what could
well, your
happen.
psionics DM would be like, well...
Negative 10.
Negative...
12.
What's it? 6, 7, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Negative 2.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Because you have 0 psionics.
Yeah. I have
So you're
0 intellect and 0 education.
Sure.
Okay.
So,
Cool.
and then you can roll, and if you succeed, you believe you've made a connection. Oh, no way.
All right, I got a 3. They obviously have forgotten their ancient roots.
But I think it's time that I appealed to your Irishness, and it's time to play a good game of bushy, bushy, bushy. Come join me here. Let's go drink.
I will drink and also connect with them.
Well, as you do. Let's do this.
You will totally start.
Bushy, bushy, bushy.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk with Tukro some more tonight about, like, you know, how often, like, you know, how far away, like, what solar systems, because he's been running further tests and whatnot on the DNA, right? Like,
Yes.
where would these guys have originated from?
Well, he already told you that
It's nowhere near here.
nothing in his database.
Nothing in his database at all.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So it's
like,
outside of these settled stars.
who would have had the technology? Well, like, hundreds of years ago to make these, or even millennia ago.
Oh, it could be much farther ago than that.
We're all partying. The agent is hard at work thinking.
No.
Remember, they
Don't
founded
drink.
they founded Elder Star Alpha. They founded ancient civilization. Who knows how old it is? There've actually been 2. You might know that there have been 2 sites where they've found structures that belong to a civilization that predates human exploration of space.
Also, would it be possible to use these kind of this manipulation on humans to like enhance the occipital lobe to like generate more psionic receptivity? I wonder.
I think that's why the Navy man wants the one they got, and might want ours too.
Well, good thing we're about to leave.
Tear away.
I did. No, it's already done. I muted it.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
So,
It's like a Band-Aid. Fast.
here,
Okay, Drax.
here,
No, I
give
don't.
it, give it. There you
Hey!
Yeah, that was really loud. You're being a lot
Adventures in
quieter
snack
before
time.
that.
In today's adventures, and what popcorn bag do we have?
I'm always already super annoyed at everyone for being loud, so I have to be like double quiet.
So you want to like stretch out the agony as long as possible.
No.
Maybe.
A small amount of crackling for a longer period of time is better than whatever that was.
That's just not true. That's
Remember
not
that-
even a little true.
Remember that brand of potato chips that had the noisiest bags in the world?
No.
I can't remember.
Every brand?
Yeah.
No, there was some brand. They don't. I
No, it
don't
was
know.
Vaughn's. Vaughn's had like
Vaughn's
this
used to
Milo
have 'em.
bag, and they actually, there was more than just us complaining about it. Actually,
It was
reformulated one.
amazing. I mean, it was 2 or 3 times louder than a regular chip bag.
So, I guess,
Anyway.
like, tomorrow they're going to want to go down and look at this location where the fight took place. But barring any kind of, like, new information, too gross, I feel like we're probably looking at just, like, a proximity trip switch. And kind of a freak accident. Well, we stumbled onto something bigger than ourselves. I know a little bit about that.
That's my guess.
Man, I'm forever getting mixed in with all this stuff. Like, it's like psionics is following me around.
Once you think you're away, it pulls you back in.
Oh, you know, I gotta watch my back too, Gross. Gotta watch my back.
I'm not going anywhere near that planet or anywhere near those Navy
You
people.
stay the hell in the ship. I'm gonna try to see if any way you isolated the pheromones, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Any way you can scan that area, see if there's any residuals left?
Sure. It's been months.
True, but
If it was still there, I think there would be more of these.
creatures there.
I would think.
Just trying to figure out a way not to put us in even more danger by going down there. Oh well.
Take some of the Marines with you.
Yeah.
They have a lot of toys. I think they like using them.
Oh, you mean the Navy dudes?
Mm-hmm. There was no need for them to use those pods to get down to this planet. They could have taken a ship's boat and landed safely. And
Yep. Not a bad idea. Might recruit some help. Play nice. It doesn't come naturally to me.
Savers.
Playing nice with others. Okay, well, thank you for all your help.
of course.
I think I'm going to turn in.
All right.
All right, so I'm going to apply. I've applied him with some alcohol. I've got him in a funny hat.
Sitting in a tall chair.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right.
I think eventually like a 3PO chair. Like
Right,
Return of the
yes.
Jedi, yeah.
It is a proper throne.
It is a proper thing. So, Corporal Braga, may I call you Paulo?
Sure.
Great. So what do you think of this place? Where are you from originally? Are you from a big city? Are you from kind of a small place like this?
I'm from San Juan.
Oh, it's from Terra.
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. What do you think of the people here?
I've only met a few of them. We've mostly been down clearing the mines.
Oh, so you've been down in the mines. So were you there when they found the big guy? The what's the word I want to use? The lurker.
Well, we didn't find the lurker down there.
Oh, you didn't find the lurker down in the mines?
No,
Where?
we found a way over. And he points through the mountain range and says, "Way over that way."
Is that in the general vicinity of where the hunter believed the fight took place?
No, actually, where the hunter thinks the fight took place is much closer to where the settlement
Okay.
is. Where he's pointing at is basically that place where that cave was, where your guys' fight with the lurkers happened.
Oh, okay.
And like around the bend there was a cave, and that's where some of the
Right.
survivors came out of, and
Okay.
then one of them just went wandering off. It was like in that direction.
Oh, okay.
I have a question for Adam.
Yes.
How many abs does this person have?
Well, he's still wearing his shirt.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Thanks, buddy. Good looking out. That's really interesting.
But he is a Marine, so he's probably cut like sushi.
Yeah.
I've never heard that term before. I've never heard that term before. I like it.
I could have said cut like a rug.
That's not.
No,
No.
that's more old timey.
It is a little tiny. So what are your plans for fortifying this place? Like, what are the, are you just going to build bigger walls? Are you training people how to take these guys out? Because you can't be here forever. Or are you? Are you reestablishing control?
No, we ain't gonna stay here for long. We're getting there. The main doors to the mining complex beefed up. It's a pretty sophisticated system. I'm not sure how they got in there because everything looks pretty much intact. I wonder if someone left the door open or something.
No, that'd be pretty careless.
Yeah, especially since they like to be able to breathe inside.
Right.
But I don't know. It doesn't make any sense because we were expecting to find the entrances torn open. Nothing of the sort. But we're gonna reinforce the door. They've already got a good security lock on it, and we got some extra weapons in our ship storage. We'll bring down for them. Some ACRs, a grenade launcher, and some heavier stuff.
Okay, so basically what you miss is they're basically just going to increase the power of the doors, but they don't seem to understand or realize that they could already open the door locks. And they're not, doesn't sound like they're going to upgrade the door locks.
told them that, did they?
No, we didn't.
No, because psionics is a no-no.
Right?
Okay.
I was just updating Pooja.
That's very purposeful. Us not saying
I know.
that to them.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'm going to get you another drink. I'll be right back.
what about additional weaponry from the
A little
for
bit.
the
They're getting a little bit.
hunters?
Not much.
Honestly, the more I talk to Two Crows, the more I think that, like,
You've been talking to Two Crows?
yeah,
What do you say?
that none of the psionic stuff is active unless they're really close together. And it's possible that just the proximity of the fight that we were talking about activated the hive mind and activated the psionics. There wouldn't necessarily be like a controlling force that sparked the... Because none of that stuff would be active without the hive mind.
Right, so territorial conflicts. This may have happened in the past, but there was no humans to take it out. Okay. All right.
Do you believe that the hive mind is the reason they could have opened the doors in the first place?
Yeah, therein lies the problem. They
I believe
figured
that
out
the
how to open locks.
activation... I believe that the activation of the psionics is why they could open the locks.
Well, that doesn't explain why someone was able to talk, like, in both EU and in Ostas.
Well, it would stand to reason that if you're communicating with someone through their mind, the mind is automatically going to translate that to a way that you can understand.
I don't know anything about it, but
And
all I knew is I heard it in my head.
technically they weren't even trying to communicate. We were just catching snippets of the thoughts that that mind was having. We assumed that since it was one voice that we were hearing, it was someone controlling all the individual workers. But if they only had one mind, they were acting as one unit in three pieces of one unit. As Two Crows mentioned, this was like almost insectile. Then it would make sense that they would only have one voice, right?
Well,
Right,
yes.
but they talked about the masters. They read my notes and talked about the masters.
Well,
so
someone clearly created them.
Yeah. But created them up to millennia ago. There's no telling how long they've been like this, except that it predates this colony.
So it's no nefarious plot. They just bump into each other, they get a hive mind, they sort it out. We just happen to be in the way this time.
Possibly?
That makes more sense than anything else.
And we don't have any evidence of anything else. Like, it was...
No, until somebody does a complete survey of this planet. I mean, and we're not equipped to do that. We got a hole in our hull. We can't figure out, like, if there's underground labs or structures.
now he brings up the hole in the hole. But suddenly now it's a good reason not to be here.
But also, no lab would be here in terms of that. They were created elsewhere. They came from elsewhere.
But they had to breed them and keep them, I mean, unless they just drop them all as a populace randomly across. I'm just saying that it seems like it's the kind of thing you would have at least a base where you let them free from.
But who's
I
to
don't
say
know.
what's even intact after
A wildlife
after
refuge. Well,
who's-
yes, exactly.
after
I am.
millennia? No.
But-
no, you're not.
But I could find it and I could put it together.
No, you couldn't.
I might be able to fix it.
So, are you saying that this is just business as usual? They bump into each other every couple of, 10, 20 years over territorial stuff. They get psionic. They usually take it out on themselves. And so we should just carry on and move on?
Possibly.
Perhaps we should still investigate the area, make sure that we don't
That
leave
there's
them.
not more. And if they didn't find the other one that's down in the tunnels, it's not a bad idea to go back down and make sure that the one that we saw actually did leave.
I agree.
Well, I believe that
We
was
should
the-
go back in the mine.
Didn't he tell you that the one that they have isn't the one from the mine?
Well, no, they didn't find it in the mine, but I believe it's the one that escaped through the cave, right?
Oh, okay.
Yep.
My bad, I misunderstood.
We should still go to the mine. I mean, there could be more down there that might be waiting. Just to check.
Well, they've cleared the
To be
mine.
safe. Did they?
They cleared the mine.
Yeah.
No, that was Riley going, did they? Well...
And that's
Yep,
that's Sherry going,
they did.
they cleared the mine.
I think our work here is mostly done then. I mean, certainly we could alert Exodus to your findings and to Crow's findings, but we're not
I feel like the
we're
less
not
we
a-
talk about psionics to others, the better.
I agree,
Yes.
and we're not a research team. We're really more of a strike force and troubleshooters. We're not equipped to do a full-on xenophobic investigation and
Xenophobic?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm a simple man.
Yes.
But that's if y'all want to. If you, what do you think, Milo?
I believe going down there and just investigating, make sure that there's no way of knowing, or there's no way of what happened would happen again. At least this close to a civilization.
It doesn't make any sense, though. These like, you saw the scan. There are little dots all over the planet that are these lurkers.
Right.
And you're saying that once every millennia, 3 of them happen to bump into each other?
Well, not just bump into each other, but are in close enough proximity for long enough to trigger this. Because
And it's not
honestly,
a problem unless we're here. I mean, they would bump into each other and fight each other, and the psionics would be
Or-
fine. But now that we're in the way,
But there's been humans here for centuries.
But all we need to
saying
do is
that-
tell the hunters. I mean, if we go off of this theory, then all we really need to do is tell the hunters that if they see the lurkers crowding each other, to just take one of them out.
Yes.
Thin down the population a little in their own territories.
So you're
in the
sa-
human settlement territories is what I mean there.
But if we're just looking at the odds. Now, I don't know nothing about animals, and I spent a lot of my life avoiding people, but there's enough of them on this planet. You're saying that in the centuries that people have been here, 3 of these things haven't gotten together anywhere near people in all these centuries before? That doesn't
Normally
make
they
any
kill
sense.
each other. The injuries, even if the hive mind was triggered, from what the hunter told us, normally the injuries would be fatal.
Right, but the hive mind, once it was triggered, like they worked together. So if the fight lasted at any length of time, wouldn't they then stop fighting?
But they were also in close proximity, closer than they normally would have been, for an unknown length of time before this inciting incident.
So we never had one mother give birth to 2 pups or something?
it's
I
3
just-
mountaintops and an entire planet.
Right, and I'm saying...
We're a pinprick in the rest of this entire planet.
But clearly this encounter was an exception to the normal rule. I would like to see if there's something there that would show us what that exception was.
Well, then we better prove that that's what it is before we leave. So why don't we get 3 of these things, put them together, and see if it happens again?
No.
Why not?
If you know a way of finding 3 of them and getting them to go to someplace at the same time,
Without us all dying in the process.
or them killing each other,
But if you would like to go to the U stuff
I don't
and
want to go
explain
to
to them how you believe that the ancients created these guys, and that you would really like to test out whether or not getting a bunch of them together and having them get psionic powers, that, by the way, we didn't tell them about before, and you'd really like to test out that theory.
I don't want to tell them that. I don't want them to know anything about this.
You know, that's a really interesting thought. I wonder how many of these things that Ustav has actually caught live and put up there in their little ship. Wouldn't it be interesting to have 6 or 7 of these things in close proximity up in a spaceship where they'd suddenly become a hive mind? That might prove interesting to the Marine or to the Navy.
it chills the blood.
Why
Is what it
do you
does.
have it, like, you seem to take this glee in the idea of the Navy getting their asses kicked or possibly dying to these things.
They could have landed in shuttlecraft. Instead, they wanted to show off and land with their big toys. And
Oh, you're jealous of the guns. Okay.
well,
I understand that. I can sympathize with that.
I don't think that we can just leave these people here on a theory that we haven't even tested. It doesn't seem right or proper.
That's why we should go down to where the fight took place and see if we can find anything.
Right, I'm saying that's good, but I mean, that was months ago. We're going to have to try it out with some living ones too. Finding an old
You're
brawling,
on your own with that one.
finding an old brawling ground ain't gonna be easy.
I wanted to go down and look for the old fight ground to tick that box off, but I'm not willing to get a bunch of them together and see.
No, that just sounds too dangerous.
It does, and it's
Too
we don't have.
volatile.
Yeah, we're not equipped for that.
Oh, and you think the miners are? Because
No.
I think that the miners can prevent it from happening, is exactly what I'm saying.
they can't cover the whole planet.
They don't need to cover the whole planet.
So I'm sorry. I mean,
It didn't suddenly... The psionics being activated in these 3 didn't suddenly activate it in everything across the planet. We would have definitely felt that one.
Right, but you think that the miners can
Kill a lurker here or there? We've heard it from their own mouths.
Right, but we still don't know if that's what's making it. So, if you're willing to gamble with all their lives, you can go tell them that. You explain this theory to them and tell them that we don't know it for certain, but maybe this is why you might be dying. But we're going to go off anyway. Good luck. Tell them that.
I mean, what exactly is your... You want to go down to the mines and do what? Look for ancient artifacts. Because really, in the end, that's all you care about. You don't care about the miners' lives at all. You care about whether or not you could find another artifact to go along and like make your own your own birth of a religion.
Well, at least I have something that I care about here instead of just writing it off as an easy.
I'm not writing
example.
anything off. I'm going on what the evidence says,
Which is nothing because you haven't tested it. You have a hypothesis.
We have the actual physiology of the creature the Two Crows has been testing.
But he doesn't even understand yet.
Actually, he understands it a lot better than you understand your artifact. But if you're going to continue to try to undermine everything that we're doing for the actual people so that you can grandiose yourself and get yourself some followers and figure out, like, feel like the big woman on campus.
I'm not trying to get followers here. I haven't mentioned a single thing to any of these people here. I'm not here trying to spread the word. I'm here trying to make sure that there's not something else here, which, yes, it might be interesting, it might be ancient, but it might also be something that might be hurting these miners.
And I'm saying let's go down and let's look at the ground where they fought. I never said let's not do that. But what I am saying is that the only way we can test whether your theory is true is to get 5 or 6 of them together and see what happens is a load of bollocks.
All right, so then how else are we going to prove your theory?
We don't have to prove it with living creatures because what we can do is eliminating other environmental factors. We've already eliminated that a human being is controlling them. Because there's literally no one who could have done it.
That we've found, we've only been at one settlement.
This is the settlement that's been here. Right. The only settlement that matters is the settlement where the incident occurred.
Except if there's another settlement that maybe wants this area.
There's zero evidence of that.
You're right. But there's also not evidence that it's not right. That's how science works.
That is not how science works, actually. Congratulations.
All right.
You're full of it, and you have no idea what you're talking about.
Barring further orders from Exodus about going in and getting these things together and doing an experiment, I think we should at least check the thing, tick that box off, and wait for further orders from Exodus.
Agreed.
Because it's out of our purview to start endangering ourselves and stressing. If we lose the crew and the ship, or most of the crew, we're going to be in deep trouble with Exodus as it is. Let's stay within our mission parameters, do the job that we were sent to do, which is what we're mostly done, and then we can report back and wait for further orders. Agreed?
Agreed.
Riley?
This is exactly what I think we should do, is eliminate other options, which is environmental factors, and then they'll be as equipped as they can be.
We all handle our PSD in different ways.
I'm sorry, what?
Agreed? Do you want to continue the mission parameters, or do you want to try to do more?
Well, we can start looking at the fights. I've said that moments ago, a long time ago. I think that's a good place to start.
Excellent.
But I also don't think we should just leave with a theory. Like, if that's all you want to give the miners, I mean...
But yes, but it is not all.
You could feel free to stay here and figure out anything you want to figure out in terms of ancient technology and thinking really hard at people by yourself.
Well, actually,
we can wait for further orders from Exodus. If they want to send another group of specialists to tackle that, or if they tell us to stay, that's fine. Let's do what we've done, tick that box off, tell them the information, and wait for further orders. I know that if we hurry up, we could probably catch a really great concert at Caliban.
I have heard that band is great.
I have too.
Real dissident harmonies.
Now, if you don't mind, I have the strength to get to this person. If you'll excuse me.
I need a beer. And Riley, we're going to play Bushy Bushy Bushy.
I'm fine. I'm all right. Thank you.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah. So, slight reverse back. Did we want to try to get some of the Navy to join us in this expedition, or are we just going on our own?
I think getting the Navy to help is a really great idea.
No, it's absolutely not.
Yeah, I totally wanna.
A Navy escort?
Like, having your guy come with us, like, the guy you're talking to right now and, like, one other dude.
Yeah.
Sure, why not? Because we could just say, hey, we think that there might be further activity in the area.
Oh,
We heard it from the hunters. We just want to check it out before we move on.
Totally want the aliens moment. What do you mean, man? They're just the animals. I totally want my aliens moment.
No, they are technically they're technically Marines.
I got it. So are they.
Okay.
What do
The
you
cap
mean,
troopers
man?
are
They're just
technically-
That's what I thought. I
They
just
were
wanted to
colonial
confirm.
Marines.
All right, so I'm going to go back
They'll be back.
to Paulo, the
Okay.
drink. And what is his current state? Is he more inebriated? Is he sobering up? Is he, like, where's he at?
You are impressed by his alcohol tolerance.
Oh, all right.
Nice.
That's what I rolled for his carouse.
All right, game on.
What did you roll?
A 12.
Oh,
Nice.
This dude's a pro.
all right.
So he will be great tomorrow morning when we set out.
Oh, yeah.
All you have to do is convince him to come with us.
He might be the only one.
Well, if he's under 30-ish,
Yeah.
I would say hangovers are usually a lot easier to deal with than older than
Boy,
that.
they sure were. Weren't
Right.
they?
Oh, wait.
It takes me the entire weekend now. Back then, it was like, like some orange juice and one German class, and I was finding him.
What killed me my first hangover over 30 was I did everything right the night before. I drank water, I took ibuprofen, I got to bed at a good hour, I sobered up, and I woke up the next morning and I still had a hangover. I'm like, this is bullshit.
That's
The one thing you forgot to stop aging.
yeah.
I'm trying. Sheer force of will.
I'm just saying, like, there's an easy solution to this, which is just you drink enough the night before to make yourself violently ill, and then you don't have a hangover the next day.
That's also true.
It's
That also
true.
works.
It is funny. I used to do that in college, and I was never hungover. You might be onto something.
Yeah,
I mean, this responsible drinking
Yeah.
we all learned as we got older is actually working against
if you
us.
vomit everything up, it's fine.
Right. Okay, see, I will go to him with
I'm
a
writing a
drink.
book. Thank you, Pooja. That's genius.
And
Kids do not listen to us. Do not.
He's taking his judging very seriously. He's like scratched out a matrix on a piece of paper, and he's like judging them by appearance and palatability, and oh yeah, he's taking this shit seriously.
all right, that's oddly attractive to Milo.
Just mildly?
Charts. I like charts.
Does Milo like charts, or does Joey like charts?
Parque no los dos, Stork. So
He's
I'll,
a diplomat. Bureaucracy is his bread and butter.
right? Yep.
He puts the dip in Diplomat.
Oh, that hurts. Okay, so
Does he
I'll,
put the low bat at diplomat as well?
so I will come to him with a drink and. So, have you gotten any closer to deciding on a winner? I went Irish there for a second.
It's down to
No,
entry
wait.
number
I keep
6,
slipping it
number
out.
12, and number 18.
Interesting. What are your findings? What's keeping them neck and neck?
Hands down, number 18 tastes best, but it's weak. I'm leaning towards 12. 12 is very strong, but it also looks like vomit.
Well,
It
presentation.
tastes all right, but it looks terrible.
Presentation is key.
So it's really between 12 and 18 now. I'm going to ask for a second tasting,
That sounds good.
and he's got like empties,
I'm impressed.
and his eyes aren't watery. He's not slurring his speech. He's not even seeming particularly jovial. He's like,
Wow.
Dude, you
this
rolled
man
a
is-
12 plus whatever endurance a Navy.
right, and whatever carousing he might have.
Right.
Yeah, he's a pro.
I mean, this is like all business all the time.
Oh, I love it.
This is amazing. I'm attracted to this.
Right?
Right? I'm not even there.
Right? Okay. Tell me, have you spoken to any of the hunters? Have you made much communication with the people who used to live here, or who are living here now?
Not really. I've been mostly. I mean, we spent the last 2 days doing a sweep of the mine.
See, they've mentioned some things that have me mildly concerned, and then we are, as part of the Exodus Foundation, want to make sure that we are leaving them in the best possible care and the best possible conditions. And they'd mentioned something about a rather large row between seemingly at least 3, possibly more of these creatures, not far from here. We were going to investigate it in the morning. I don't know if perhaps you would be interested in accompanying us.
Sure.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Well, then the shots at bagging at least one or two more of these creatures, eh?
No, I wouldn't mind that. So, what, like, 0600?
Yes, 0600 would be lovely.
Oh, 600?
0600 AM?
Sorry. 600 is such a large number. I had no idea it'd be in the morning.
Oh, 600! Oh.
But yeah.
I don't
And then, oh, samples.
Yeah.
It's definitely 12. But look, it does look like vomit.
Yes.
It doesn't smell like vomit.
No, not at all.
I'll try a. On your recommendation, I will try a 12.
All right.
And I think I'll spend the night just carousing with him, getting,
Okay.
buddy.
Okay. You got it.
No. Kimmy's got that look.
Oh, you also would have
You got a bag full of wrenches there, Kimmy?
Muffled.
Campfire
Okay.
proselytizing.
Oh.
600.
I figured out a way to do it. There's no mention of how you get it.
Good luck.
Could I just roll persuade on it?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, good.
Just make a persuade roll on that, and then
Pass.
depending on what you roll,
Okay.
that'll determine whether or not you get followers.
I'm not going to do that yet, though.
Okay.
Is there a way for me to get back up to the ship?
Sure, you guys have a ship's boat. You'll be leaving everyone else here.
It's just for a few minutes.
Well, it probably takes an hour and a half to get up there and an hour and a half to get back.
As long as we'll be back by 600?
You'll be back by 0600.
Okay. then it's fine.
Yeah, you can absolutely do that.
Okay, I'm going to go up to the ship then.
Okay.
And I'm going to, try and, commune with my artifact and see if my artifact, pinpoints locations on the planet or is doing anything different, like in reaction.
Did we ever
to
figure out what it is?
It's a belt buckle.
No, it's not.
You're right, it's a shoe.
You said that it looks like a sculpture
shoehorn.
of some kind.
Okay.
I
don't remember.
Yeah, you and I talked about it, and you said that it looks like I got it from some rich preppy kid who I was training, who got it from their parents and didn't realize what it was.
And it was like a collector of some kind, didn't realize what it was, and
Gave it to
sold
me,
it during
yeah.
the estate sale.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
So-
I do remember that.
Yeah. So it just looks, it's probably on a little pedestal thing, and it looks like bad art.
Okay.
I don't know what I roll to use ancient technology that I don't actually understand.
You don't
I have
see it's
science
not doing,
archaeology.
So I'm going to say it's like some sort of statue, and then it's sitting on a pedestal, and that pedestal has those letters that you were basically writing down
Okay.
on whatever that says. But it's not doing anything.
Okay. I'm like,
It's like, I mean, you can roll to see if you want to think it's doing something, but it's not actually doing anything.
okay, it's not actually anything. All right. Is Two Crows asleep?
Probably not. He's pretty obsessed right now. Unless you want him to be asleep, and then he can be asleep.
I have some persuade.
Okay.
So I'm going to go and ask him. We think that we might need to do some further tests down on the planet. And I was wondering if I could have some of what you were saying, the olfactory bits to take down to the planet surface with us.
The pheromones.
Yeah, that's what they were saying, yes.
That's an 11?
11, 12, 13.
Well, I can give you some, but you know what?
I mean, can you put it in a bottle or something that would be airtight until we needed it?
I'd be careful opening it up,
Well, right, of course.
because what I've got is concentrated.
Right. Maybe just a little bit of it, not a whole lot.
You open that up, they might come for miles.
That would be terrible.
And then Kimmy killed the party.
I know, right? It's like, man.
Gives you like 3 vials.
Right.
2 full sessions, huh?
Right, I don't want to. I just want like literally like one little drop at the bottom.
Well, yeah,
of
it's like the little. It's like did you ever have an MRE with a little tiny bottle of Tabasco?
Yes.
Then those are awesome. It's like a 1/16 of an ounce or something of Tabasco sauce.
And it's like the greatest part about them, if you haven't had them, is that it's like the mini-me of Tabasco bottles. It's shaped exactly like a Tabasco bottle, except it's literally got like this much Tabasco in it. It's enough to put like 5 drops on your food.
Yeah. That's basically what he gives you. It's like these little tiny vials about that big, and there's 3 of them. It's 3 different. It's 3 different pheromones.
Okay.
Because he's not sure exactly which one does which.
Right.
But these seem to be the 3 major ones.
Okay. She's going to very carefully put them in a very nice padded
Oh, he gives you like a little
container.
like
thing.
a little box that they slip in and closes it.
It's
That's
a
like
can.
it's it's like a barbasol can. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent.
The Barbasol.
I got Nedry. Nedry's here. And it's like refrigerated.
Okay. Fantastic. And she's going to put that very carefully in a little pouch with a lot of padding around it. And she's going to head back down for 600.
Right. Okay. 600 comes.
Mm-hmm.
Where are you guys sleeping on the? Well, you can't be sleeping on the boat because she took it up and she won't be back until probably like 4.
I'm assuming that we had a room somewhere like in the town for all these days that we spent.
Probably. Yeah. There's a lot of vacancies.
Can't imagine that.
Okay.
I'm
Because
assuming.
otherwise I would have been on that boat when she took it out to the ship.
I'm going to assume, like at any small municipal airport or whatever, there's at least a lounge that you can crash in while you're waiting
Right.
for.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably like a small inn there, something like that.
I mean, people from the neighboring settlements have to come by at some point, right?
Yes.
Also, they have people come to buy their things.
Yes. Okay. So you're staying there,
Yeah.
and
On planet.
at an ungodly hour.
Yes. Hello. Is the Earth destroyed?
That's for you.
Thought you said 600, sir.
Is it not? 600. Yes, right there. I knew that. I will be right there. Quickly. What?
I'll grab some chow and I'll see you over by the lift.
Yes, of course.
Do I need to do wake-up calls for the rest of your team?
Please do.
I'm already out. I didn't drink shit.
Right.
I'm out.
We're all up.
You monsters.
Well, we're all ex-military. We knew what 0600 meant.
I just didn't drink, so it's not like I had to worry about a hangover. It was like 0600, and then I typed it into my comm. I was like, what time is that?
I haven't stopped drinking, so it's all fun.
And True Crows was like, really fucking early. And I was like, oh, fine then. True Crows is now my repository for all, like...
Right.
True Crows is my new Google.
It really is.
Okay, Two Crows.
Ethan, help me. Ethan. He said, 0600, what does that mean? and Ethan's like...
6 a.m.
What did they teach you in school?
Didn't they teach you anything in agent school? Did you have a boot camp?
I mean, our boot
With
camp was
honors.
very different.
With honors.
Our boot camp was a very different kind of camp.
It's more of a sensible shoe camp than a boot camp.
It was more of a, help me find my boots in the morning camp.
Yeah. How do you break a person slowly through their mind kind of camp? Ours is bones.
Yeah, while they were learning how to tell time, she was going through interrogation training.
Yeah.
How to
Right.
resist interrogation.
While we were having our spirit broken, she was learning to break spirits.
Right.
Just saying.
I was just learning to drink spirits.
Love how that came around.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I like it. But you'd be less hungover right now.
All right, so we're going.
It's been a minute.
So we're headed in the direction of where the fight had been, right?
Well, you're going
We're
to
gonna
the
go
lift
lift,
and
yeah,
take
get
the
down
lift
there.
down
Okay.
because it's a ways down.
And as we're all in evacs or vac suits.
Backsuited up.
Yeah.
I'm armed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we all are.
Well, it's important to say that.
You're right. You're right.
You have your ACR, I assume.
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right.
And I've got my laser rifle.
Okay,
Yep. Got my laser pistol.
I mean, sorry, laser carbine.
okay.
to be specific, as I forgot the name of my weapon already.
And yeah, I've got the laser pistol, and I probably took explosives too. Just a little bit.
Okay. Are you keeping those in the same pocket as the pheromones?
No,
or-
let's not give her any ideas.
Oh yeah, aerosolize it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I feel like maybe when we were creating characters, we should have also made backup characters.
Well,
That would have been a whole other session.
that's why it's so fun to play Traveler. That's why
I actually didn't.
Our first session, you made us do that.
Yeah. You did say something like,
And I think I said. I think I even mentioned maybe making backup characters.
Yes,
Okay.
that's all right.
That, early.
I'm sure
long
it'll be
time,
fine.
Early in my
I'm
prep.
not worried.
Okay. All right. So he's there when you guys get there. He's there and he's
Where's
in
Mr.
his mech suit and he's armed to the teeth. He's got
I
a
mean, I'm
rocket
just saying you
launcher.
could ride Paolo away.
I could.
Oh, he could totally carry people.
yeah.
He could totally carry people, or he could just hold on.
have I got any more points back since it's been a couple of days?
Make a endurance roll. Is it endurance? Is that how natural healing works? I think it's endurance.
Yeah.
9. Yeah.
9, yeah.
That's a point.
It does feel kind of like, so he
I think natural healing is.
It's all good.
no, it's weird. It's a weird mechanic to me because endurance is like the first thing that goes away, right? Like
Yeah.
Well, you're not rolling. You're rolling. I think you're rolling versus your default, not your current.
Oh, okay.
Because it's like this is how tough your character is. Mm-hmm. So I don't think it. Well, I'm assuming it doesn't go down for those kinds of rolls. It might for trying to make a strength roll and you're so wounded your strength is down to 2.
I thought I read somewhere that you heal like 1 point a day if you're not doing anything, but that's okay. Carry on. Let's get more on with the plot. More on.
I can't find.
And I'll look it up.
All right.
I can't find it. It's
So
not-
we're headed to the fight area.
All right. Yeah. You head down. He's. You call up the elevator and head down. And you kind of know a vague direction from the hunters which way that the fight seemed to start, because it kind of traveled. It kind of started in one section, then it kind of moved to another section. So you get down to the bottom. Door opens up. You all get out, and there's like a path that leads, as you recall, to the entrance to the mining complex. And the direction you need to go is exactly the opposite. So you are literally walking between the 2 little lighted pillars that they have set up and just out into the brush.
Okay.
So an injured traveler, it's on page 79,
Oh,
healing.
it's way over there.
An injured traveler regains a number of characteristic points equal to his 1d plus endurance dice modifier per day of full rest.
Oh, okay.
A traveler who requires surgery only regains characteristics equal to his endurance dice modifier per day. How many days has it been since the fight?
1.
2,
No, it's
maybe
been
a couple.
3.
It's been a couple
2 or 3.
days.
3.
Oh, okay.
Roll 3 times. So it's what? 1d plus your end.
1d plus my end. Okay, so
What's your
both
end?
4. So my end is current end or full end? My end is 10. If my dice modifier
So
is plus 1.
So add plus 1 to each of those, and then
So 5 and 10. So I got 10 points, so I'm healed. Yes?
totally,
Yes.
all stats are back up to normal.
Yes.
Okay, right. Got it.
Awesome.
Then you can lead the expedition.
If we actually did the healing right the first time. Page 79. I'm going to write that down.
I'll earmark my page, which will drive some people crazy.
Yep.
You monster.
Hey, look, I found one.
Okay.
I'm physically hurt.
Yeah.
I know, me too. I can't do it either.
All
I do
right.
it all the time.
So we're
This is a
headed to
print-on-demand
our
book. It's
fight
not even a good book.
place again. So
All right, so you start heading down, basically it's down a ravine, and now it's been months, but you probably see some fairly deep impressions in the sort of muddy ground, and there's probably some broken trees where you can see. I mean, good-sized limbs are snapped, things like that. So you kind of find an area where that fight probably happened.
how many Marines do we have with us?
1.
Oh. All right.
I mean, we just asked for the one.
In a mech suit, though, right?
He's in a mech suit, and he has a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher, an ACR, and God knows what else.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah.
He might even have pocket nukes on him.
That seems like it would be bad for the
Now,
environment.
now he's
It
right.
might be. It probably would be.
Just
Yeah, he probably doesn't have those because he probably has to get special permission to carry those.
because, like, you have to preserve the ecosystem of the blah, 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 citizens, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Radioactivity, blah, 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 blah.
Because that's worked so well in the past with their neighbor.
I think that's probably our policy. I don't know if that's the.
They're on Bikini Island
the
blowing up
militaries.
atolls, and we're like, guys, you probably should stop.
You know, the whole planet's background radiation just went up by 5%.
Never tell me the facts.
Too real. Too real.
Too soon?
Also, yes.
Too
Okay.
current.
So there's a couple broken tree limbs, and there's some gouges in the ground where it looks like there was a fight. And like from there, you can kind of see stuff that you may not have noticed. That they did seem to travel sort of the direction that you just came from, and then up and like down another ravine.
Picking up anything on that fancy smancy army of yours there, Chief?
I'm not seeing anything. Let me check my link. No, we're clear. The nearest one of these things is about 18 clicks away.
Do we see any bones or anything around?
No.
Well, let's take some photographic evidence so we can at least put that into our report.
Take some scans.
Okay.
Look for evidence of the, the tussle. There are no
Right.
bones, but there wouldn't be any bones because even if they had killed one, they would have eaten it.
Well, even
So-
bones exist. That's what I was
Well, we
hoping
don't
to
know if
find
they're
at least-
cannibalistic.
I mean, that's what the hunter said, is that the other one eats it.
I was hoping to find at least bones. Then we could at least. But
Hey, Ves, do you remember when we were on that firefight on that moon that one time years ago?
yes, of course.
Do you remember, like, the fog that was stuck around, how bad it smelled?
Yes. Remember we blamed it on the chief because he had beans that night?
Well, it was his fault.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, this whole place is covered with this fog stuff, right?
Yes.
Like, maybe it makes smells stick around more. Or travel farther, not dissipate.
Well, did
What are you
Tucos
getting
come
at?
up with anything on the scan for
I'm trying not to
the
say it, like, in
pheromones?
front of the Marines, so I'm like,
Yeah,
smells.
yeah. He probably sent down with her some like a small sniffer thing that you can use to see if there's remnants. He told you that it's probably been too long.
But he set down a device that we could try to.
Yes,
I don't know how to use. Oh, maybe I do. Is it a sensor?
Was it?
some kind of sensor.
All
yeah.
right, electronic sensor.
So while he's on the uplink with his, let me check the uplink. You can do your sniffer.
Yeah.
12.
Oh, 13.
Okay. The needle's like barely moving. I mean, it's like tiny.
Okay. I'm gonna very carefully keep it away from my.
He's got there's a couple of marks on there where he's guessing where their threshold to be able to sense this stuff would be. And if it's a 180 degree scale, you're here and the needle's going, and it probably at like 11 o'clock is where he believes they would be able to perceive the stuff.
Oh, what's our visibility here? We're like 10 feet, maybe?
Yeah, maybe 10
like
feet.
total? Like, and
Yes.
so even somebody this far away, it's still blurry and hazy, but
Yeah.
10 feet? Okay.
Yeah.
It's really, really foggy.
It's very,
Okay.
very dense.
So you probably don't even need to hide it because it's still just, it's so foggy. But I'm
Well,
I'm a little concerned about getting
It's prob-
separated.
It's probably common knowledge that
Yeah.
she gave
Okay.
this sniffer.
Yeah, no, I'm not hiding that from you guys.
All right.
But I'm not going to be like the olfactory theory in front of the Marine.
I meant hiding it in front of the Marine.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just gonna,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like scanning. He's a fucking Marine. Like,
Right.
I mean, I'm one too, so I know how they are. I'm not.
He was actually Navy, right? Or they?
He's
Are
a
they?
Marine. They're
Yeah.
Marine. The cap troopers are technically
They're Ustas Marines.
yeah, they're Marines.
So yeah. Scanning.
He like picks up one of the broken tree limbs. It looks like it weighs about 200 pounds. It's like, wow, damn. trying to fit it back on, like how it would sit.
I'll take some shots of that for our.
Okay.
I'm doing the cell phone thing. Isn't that
For
funny?
you.
Yeah,
It would have
for
been
me,
a camera, but now it's a cell phone.
Right.
Thank you for looking out, buddy. Would it be worth it to examine the tracks leading up and down that next ravine? Seems like there might be something there, possibly.
Sure.
Oh, Paolo, would you like to lead the way?
You got it.
Lovely.
Now you could keep track of these things from orbit, right?
I got an uplink, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, so can we.
No, I'm talking to the Marine.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
I'm just
You
saying
guys
that, like, I mean, we can also keep track of them from our ship.
I don't
we
have-
don't have to rely on him for that
We
because
don't-
that's something we're already
We don't
doing.
have feed in our vac suits. Do we? Oh, maybe we do.
Or I
Oh,
have
guess
a-
know.
I have an HUD.
Okay.
visor.
And I have a neural comm link to the ship.
Okay, you can.
So he bounces. Boom, boom, boom.
What are you
Mine.
guys saying?
I'm not going to not tell you if something's getting closer.
You didn't last time.
Not much yet.
Are there any around here at
Oh,
all?
my ass kicked. I don't want that happening.
Nothing
Well,
that
it's
I'm
not like
seeing.
last time we didn't have, like, we didn't know what we were looking for, like, in terms of like signatures or anything. We only were able to keep track of them after we'd encountered them.
Just let me know.
Yeah, I will.
So you get to where the second site is, and it looks like this site does not have nearly as much damage, like natural damage, as the other site did. But this is you can tell that there was a lot of these things in this area. Same thing, plants disturbed and crushed and things like that.
But nothing terribly out of the ordinary as far as
No.
structures or...
But it looks like a lot, like more than half a dozen. Like, how many?
Does anyone have
I got
hunting?
animal handling. Ooh, hunting. I got survival.
And
I'm sorry, survival would
investigate
work.
too, right?
Investigate might work.
I have
I can
investigate.
We could roll multiple rolls here. How's that?
Sure.
I got animal handling.
Animal handling is not
I have survival as
survival.
Not with a 5. It's too foggy. I can't tell.
I have 2 in investigate.
Okay.
Not with a
That's
4.
a 6.
I've got a 0 in investigate. I'll
7
give it a
because of
shot.
intellect.
Boom.
8, and then investigate intellect, or...
Intellect. Yeah.
So it's 9.
Just need an 8.
Okay.
Kind of love traveler.
I roll
Yeah, go ahead.
archaeology.
No, archaeology was not the right
No,
thing.
just to see, like, if they were congregating in this place, like, is there something, like, what, is there a reason they would be here, like, that has to do with my...
Oh, with your weird stuff? Sure.
Pooja's gonna kill me.
No, my character will, though.
Yes.
Like, I think this is hilarious.
Yeah.
But, like, if you put us all in danger, my character will not hesitate to shoot you.
absolutely. Yeah, no, that's fine. She probably wouldn't even notice, like, me looking around. So I got a 6.
No.
Okay.
Pretty about probably 3 of them.
3 of them. Okay.
Yes. Also, the little sniffer thing that Two Crows gave you. It's the needle is now off the little pin on the very bottom, but is not still nowhere near the perceptible range, but is maybe like a quarter of the way to it.
Right.
But it's definitely there's more of those pheromones here than there were in the other side.
Probably should have gone with the recon.
How long ago were they here? I'm sorry, I don't remember. As a
Months.
player.
This is months.
Okay.
What did I say? Like
3 months.
3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna like very like chill, like lean over so you guys can see the screen.
Well, none of this changes what we originally thought might happen. Not originally, but none of this deviates from the theory that the 3 of them came here and had a fight.
And at least we know there's no more information we can give the settlers to make sure they don't do this again.
Except to make sure that they don't, if they see them encroaching on each other's territory, to cull. Which the Marines can help with.
Yes.
Can't you, Paolo?
Oh, sure. As long as we're here. We'll be heading out pretty soon, though.
But you are upgrading the hunter's weapons, correct?
Yeah,
Self-defense and all.
absolutely.
Perhaps some kind of census to let them know when they are getting close. Is there any kind of census you can give them so they can track them on...
Well, IR. They just got to know what to look for.
Well, I mean, between all of us, can't we teach them that?
Sure.
I mean, it took us, what? A couple of hours to figure out what to look for?
Right. Sure. Yeah.
I feel
yeah.
like they're sufficiently motivated.
They probably just didn't have the equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Now they will. All right, job well done, folks. Let's head back up.
We'll tick this box. We'll put it in the report. Send it out by Ansible, and
Hopefully, by the time we get back to the ship, we'll have an next
we
assignment.
could probably make it in time for that concert.
I hear it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, so we don't have another assignment. I have no problem going to that concert.
Right, we might as well head there, and then if they tell us, we could deviate. But yeah.
Also, that's the planet with the non-carbon-based life forms.
Absolutely.
Perhaps, I mean, just before we call it a day, perhaps we should go down into the mine again while we've got our fancy friend here with his great suit.
No. We went to the mines, they went to the mines, and the mines are clear. And there's no reason to go back.
Is that big a deal to just go back and look in the mines? Like, we don't even have our next orders yet, so what does it matter?
I mean, we have no reason to go back.
We have no reason not to go back, except that we're just going to be sitting on the ship waiting around.
Or we can go to
Or
the
we could
concert.
actually do things on the ship, and also
Then why don't you go do things on the ship, and I'll go check out the mines in my free time.
have fun.
All right.
Okay.
Are you really going to let her go?
I mean, she's going to do what she wants to do, no matter what we say.
I'll go with her.
Have fun.
I could go with her if you want.
You could come with us, yes, please.
Okay.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't want to go back in the mines either.
I'm just sick of
pull you-
indulging.
I pull
To
you
be
aside
honest,
and say,
like, I am sick of indulging this nonsense that every single thing either has to tie back to some ancient artifact, or she's obsessed with making things fit her theory, no matter what the consequence to anyone else.
we all handle our PTSD in different ways. I'll be with her. I'm sorry. I'll see what we can do.
Like, if it's
And I
going
walk
to
off.
put the entire group at risk, and more than that, it'll put this entire colony at risk. The ideas that she was spouting yesterday would literally put this entire settlement and colony in a worse position than when we found it.
I completely agree with you. You're correct.
So I don't know what else to do. I mean, like, there's no reasoning with her.
I'm sure it'll be fine. They won't find anything down there anyway. Perhaps we'll get back on the ship. You can help me further my education on the Americana language.
The Amerikish.
The Amerikish.
We could work on your accent.
I thought it was getting much better. Alright, so yeah, I guess we'll go back to the settlement and back up to the ship.
Okay.
All right. Meanwhile, down in the mines,
Now, the mines are active again, right? They've cleared them, and are the miners back there?
Right now, they're still fitting the new door, so it's open, so it's contaminated.
Yeah.
There's basically like marine engineers working on the outer door,
Okay.
but inside the mine, it's probably not active yet.
Okay. But the Marines went through and cleared everything.
Yes.
Okay.
it's doing that crazy Celtic mine of yours there, Riley. What are we doing here?
Well, I think we should check the bottom levels, because those are
Alright.
the newest tunnels, and if they disrupted something, then it will probably be down there.
All right. We can tick that box, and then we go back to the ship, yeah?
Yeah, we can see what's down there.
Okay. And after that, we go back to the ship, right?
I mean, you can go back to the ship. We'll see what's happening.
Right. Okay. Paulo, you take point.
You got it. Where are we going?
Just down to the bottom. It's just an elevator ride. I'm pretty sure we can all handle that.
Right, level 9. Level 9. He gets out.
Okay.
That's the stoop.
So yeah, I'm just gonna like we started to walk down this level, when we were searching for
Yes.
the
You came down
survivors.
yes. Yeah.
So I'm probably gonna head down that same direction and just kind of like be checking the side things.
Okay.
Like now that we're not looking for like humans and waiting, and waiting for answers to call. So just see if we find anything that looks weird that they broke into a nest or
Right.
ancient technology or like whatever. Like literally, like there's just something down here she thinks.
Make a recon roll. My internet just took a crap.
Aw.
And
Nope. Oh, maybe 5. Nah. Because it's -3, right? If I don't have it.
that's correct,
Yeah.
yes.
So 5.
Okay. You don't see anything.
Nothing.
No.
Okay.
I mean, it's just basically mine shafts. And you can go down and check them. And
Yeah. Okay.
they usually end in
Chiseled stuff.
chiseled. Yes.
Okay.
Chiseled rock. And I'm ready to send you out your communication, but of course the internet just went down before I hit send.
So all the live people watching live are now not watching live.
You want to just read it out, and then we'll just not. Those of us who aren't
Okay.
supposed to get it won't.
No, and I'll send it when
Okay.
the internet's fixed. The following is confidential for Exodus Foundation employee eyes only. To EF, that's Employee Foundation, or Exodus Foundation, Vessel Vanguard. At or about 302-2585, that's the 302nd day of the year 2585, which is this year. It's a couple months from now. A prototype J28 drive will be available for refit in the 70 Opeuchi system. This drive will allow for Jump 2 travel. Refit is expected to take 2 weeks. Proceed at your earliest convenience to the 70 Opeuchi system, to the Belo Estrella space dock for refit at or about 302-2585. The existence and possession of this drive is considered confidential information and should be kept within the confines of the EF Vanguard crew. If circumstances require a late arrival, please contact Dockmaster Manuel Barboza and inform him of your expected arrival date.
Barboza.
Barboza.
It's great.
What's this about my ship?
Why?
Let me send it
Do you
now?
mind if I? Oh, the internet's back.
Oh, maybe not. I can't tell.
Do you mind if I look at it?
Yeah, it's like someone flipped a switch and both computers just went, yeah, no internet. I wonder if it's a router.
Yeah, it might be.
Is that affecting the live stream?
Nope.
No, it's different
Oh,
internet
okay,
connection.
thanks. Like I got like half of it, but it's so
Okay.
much easier to understand.
Right.
Reading it.
I'll send it out as soon as the
Yeah.
internet
Awesome.
is. And I was thinking about this would be a good endpoint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if Riley doesn't
Unless
find
you want to
anything-
release the stuff, which I'm totally for.
I know. I don't want to make everybody hate me.
It's stressful, isn't it? I had this problem with Trig. I was like, oh man, but he's a,
Yeah, I mean, how crazy do you want to be?
he had. I should release his backstory, but that's a whole other. That's a whole other
Well,
story.
you two are up safe on the ship, right?
We are. Early speaking, preparations get up on the ship. I don't know if we're officially
It's
up
all
yet.
Marines down here.
Let's end
I
it.
mean, you took like an
Take one
hour.
Let me think about it.
So
Okay,
we're
think
on our
about
way
it.
up.
Yeah, we're on our way up. We're probably in transit to the ship.
Okay, so you open the case up and you're like,
I look down at my pouch thoughtfully, and then we cut to black.
and then continue next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
To be continued. Mwah, ha, ha.
All right. Any feedback?
It was good. I like it.
I just wish I knew what was going on, Stu.
I know.
God damn it! You give us all these clues, and I can't figure it out. I keep feeling like you're giving us, like you're being really obvious.
I'm not.
and I
I'm not being
cannot
obvious.
figure anything out.
This is a slow burn.
Okay, good.
And I love you, Pooja. Thank you for pushing back. It's awesome. It's good to play. It's
Cool.
yeah,
I love you too.
Yeah.
It's so funny because it's just like, it's so nice to be like, you know, as I've gotten like.
Your mic,
as I've-
your mic is
Off?
off, I think.
It is. Oh, are we still?
We're still on. We're still live.
Yeah.
My bad. So what's really nice is like the more I play, in a way, like the more attached to my characters I get because I love them and I like
Yeah.
to flush them out the more.
Uh-huh.
But the more I'm willing to be like, walk that line,
Yeah.
Yeah.
walk it,
Yeah.
walk it.
Push it.
Let's see if we can. Let's see if we like if this roll of the dice and we're all gonna die,
Yeah.
or if it's like. You know?
Yep.
But the nice thing is also is that, like, you know, it's not personal because, like, Kimi and I are friends and we've been friends forever and we know where we're coming from because
Yeah.
we keep those lines of communication open.
Exactly. Absolutely.
You know, I've always said the failures are infinitely more interesting than the successes.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's easy to just go and kick ass. When you fail, or when something goes wrong, so much more interesting.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Check out happyjacks.org/schedule. We'll be back again with this game next Sunday, even though it's the Super Bowl.
And we got a lot of games in between,
Yep. Lots of
including.
different stuff. Check out the schedule, and it will all be there.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Yep.
Thanks. Bye.
The preceding program has been a presentation of the Angry Folk Media Empire.